What's going on, y'all? Gazer Being 2K back here with the Gust of Wind podcast. I have Steuben to my left, right? Steuben, what's going on, my guy?
Hey man, how's it going? Welcome back. We did an episode without you, and by we I mean me, all by myself. No, I had some of the group from behind the
Trainers
scenes here.
Guild.
Yeah, the Trainers Guild, 9 card, on guard, and Vulcan Turtle.
Are you
Uh,
rhyming there? 9 card, on card? What? No?
Not intentionally,
Oh,
but it,
okay.
it just happened.
Look, anytime we can do an episode and there's no 9 card involved, I'm fine with that. So I'm,
Okay.
I'm glad I missed it.
No you though either, right? Like, should I just do an episode where I just monologue the entire time? Is that ultimately what you want?
I mean, if I get one too, we have to be fair, right?
Oh no, we can't do that. We can't let you have those sort of privileges.
But yeah, I missed last week's episode. I was trying to win a box, which I ultimately did not win.
No.
I had a win in game, which turned out it wasn't going to be a win in. I would have bubbled at ninth anyway. But I could have took ninth, but I made the ultimate mistake and Marnie shuffled my hand into my deck.
Yeah, that's cool. If you were playing Roxanne, maybe you would have been all right, but no.
Yeah. Well, my deck. Granted, I play a lot of shuffling cards. There's a lot of Poke Gear. There's a lot of Mew. I play 4 Mew with Mysterious Tail. I play Energy Lotto. So I'm constantly shuffling. And this is the first time ever IRL I shuffled Marnie money. I've been playing IRL for what, 6 months now? 5-6 months?
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, first time I ever did that. So I was like, wow. I felt dumb, but I mean, hey, it was what it was. But I did take, that following Monday, I did take second place in like an 18-man tournament. And then this past Monday, I took first place in like an 8-man tournament. The other 8 people were playing in the team challenge. So it would have been 16, but it split down to 8. And I was the king of the molehill for a little bit. And then last night I played locally and I went 1-2. And I took 6 out of 8. And
so what would have happened if those 8 players who were playing in the team challenge would have been playing in the tournament? You would have been 16th place then, right?
I'm pretty sure I still took first place. I'm getting pretty good at the game. Not to get big headed, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay. Where were you at Baltimore Regionals this weekend?
Ooh, Baltimore, East Coast.
Yeah. Oh, Baltimore.
Well, I mean, you went to the regional. You went to Baltimore.
I did. I finished 276, 531. I did the math with my opponent in 9 round at the end of like at the beginning of round 9, and I was like, I think we're okay. I think we're like table 70 something. So like, okay, we should be able to ID and get in there. And technically, if like we had like 1024 players or less, we would have been fine. But because it was like 1070 or something, just there were 78 people that had a 5-3 round record that didn't get championship points. These tournaments are getting a little bit too big for their britches.
This was the largest one, wasn't it?
It was the largest regional in the history of the Pokemon trading card game. So like, if it wasn't this big, we would have been okay, and I would have got my pitiful 30 championship points for 12 plus grueling hours in a basement, locked away with a bunch of other sweaty nerds.
In a basement.
It was in a basement. It was not a pleasant situation.
It really was? Oh, that stinks. That sucks, man.
Yeah, it just was probably like, if I had a tier list of bad regionals, number 1 worst regional I've ever been to was Virginia 2014 at the horse festival thing, the horse convention in Doswell, I think it was called.
It sounds bad.
Okay. Where everybody got food poisoning from the Denny's. I'm sure everyone's heard about the Denny's incident. It's outside of a King's Dominion theme park, basically. Second worst regional ever would have been Charlotte 2018, the church basement one with 1 bathroom for 800 people. And this one would be the 3rd worst regional I've ever been to.
So this is top 3 worst. Well,
yeah.
I mean, at least you got to go. I'm sure you're going to a couple more this season. I'm gonna go to a few on the West Coast. I'm thinking like, if we were, because these tournaments are getting like out of hand. You're right. These regions are getting out of hand. If we were like in like a different country or continent, someplace where there's like smaller numbers for us to play at, like say Australia or someplace like that, I feel like we could really easily qualify and just have a good time playing. You know what I mean? We wouldn't have to worry about championship, because it's all over Twitter. You've seen that, right? The championship.
Everything. And the prize. I mean, we'll get into that. I mean,
I just wish we were like in a place like Australia where like it's easier to qualify and get in. Like like a.
Well, I mean, you're in California. I'm in Pennsylvania, so we're not in Australia. No.
Do we know anyone in Australia who could touch on that a little bit?
Do we have to do the Blue's Clues style intro all the time? Can't we just hey.
We are joined today by the Stabilized himself. We have Mitch. Mitch, how you doing, man? My God, what's going on? Good morning to you.
Oh,
It's morning over there, man. It's
yeah, it's
5 p.m. over
morning.
here, 7 p.m. for
It is.
Steuben. Oh, no, 8 p.m. for Steuben. Still on the late shift, and it's morning for you, 10 a.m. How are you feeling?
Well, we're on a public holiday today because of the Queen's passing, so managed to free up some time to hang out with you guys, which is
Wait,
good.
wait,
So
hang
we're
on.
all very,
The same.
very solemn.
Wait, you guys have like the same queen as England?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the Queen of England is our head of state.
What the hell?
Yeah,
Wow.
we just don't. We don't have anything to do with her. Well, now we definitely don't. But we don't have anything to do with the royals at all. Except we get a public holiday when she dies. So
With Diana in the '90s, they just sent her to Australia. Then is that what happened?
it must be true. That must be
Okay,
true.
all right, it makes sense. It
Well,
makes
the
sense.
internet's got to be true. It's always right. But
But
Mitch, we
yeah,
appreciate your time on this day off, man. Thank you so much. We know you're a busy man.
Must be something to do.
yeah, you've got a awesome YouTube channel that just about everybody in the community should be aware of if they already aren't. You got, you
Well,
think, what, 20
I
20
appreciate it.
20,000 subscribers?
Yeah, just a lazy 20K. I have no idea how it happened
Yes.
because I don't post videos anymore. I don't know. I've just not got the time anymore. But I do genuinely appreciate all those people that keep clicking the subscribe button. So yeah, it seems to be going relatively well. I'll have a couple of weeks in the next 3 weeks maybe where I'll actually be able to do some videos. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But
Awesome.
we'll just ease in. We'll ease into it.
Looking forward to seeing what you come up with. You always have something different and unique and creative compared to a lot of other creators out there.
Yeah.
Thank
Some of
you.
my favorite YouTuber, Pokemon, trading card game YouTubers, Sable Eyes, LDF, For the Win TCG, and may he rest in peace. Well, I guess he's not dead, but Donald from Dark Control Gaming, he was great too. So
Back in the
you are one
day.
of my top favorites, Mitch.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I think you've listed off the people that are actually trying to do something different with their YouTube stuff for Pokemon, because all the other, like the competitive guys, they just make the same decks all the time, which is fine because they're always good. But it's like I don't know how many times I can watch a video about Giratina.
Oh man, you're preaching to Subin right now. Subin, I'm surprised you're not saying hallelujah, hallelujah, amen.
I'm nodding my head aggressively and smirking and but yes, yeah, it's honestly like it's kind of crazy how like everybody can just crap out the same thing and they all get thousands of views somehow collectively.
My favorite thing I've got, so my YouTube channel, I only subscribe to other Pokemon TCG people, so I can make sure that I can see what everyone's doing.
Mhm.
Because I don't want to put out stuff that's the same, right? So
Tell me about it.
I don't want to see 7 people put out a video and then I've also got that one lined up. So essentially, what I'll do is I'll go in the morning. I'm actually going to go and do it right now. You go and look at the page, right? You go and look at my subscription page, and you can tell what deck is the flavor of the month. Today it's what? Well, they're all doing Silver Tempest stuff, but it looks like it's all single prize stuff at the moment.
The
That
Lost
lost box,
Box.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
that
Stabilize.
lost
Lost
box is
box. We're
everywhere.
going to make a video on that today. It's like, alright, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's a lot of Palkia, a lot of Kyurem combined together, a lot of single prize Lost Box, and just all these different variations of it. The tournaments in Singapore and Yokohama used the new format, and everyone's just like, "Oh, cool! Let's just copy and paste this video." And
Yep.
yeah,
Off we go.
I played someone locally last night who was playing the Lost Box. Like, this is the one that won Singapore. He was like, he's a guy I play against a lot. He's like really nonchalant about things and kind of thinks he's better than he is. Kind of a jerk, a little bit. So I'm like, oh, what list is this? It's the list that won Singapore. You didn't see it? I'm like, I've seen some
are
of
you
it.
playing into a mirror gazer?
No, I'm sticking with Sun and Zoroark, man. That's my deck now.
The TO at your locals just feels so bad for you. They put a mirror across from the table.
Set this
No,
guy up in the corner of the room.
I'm playing real people.
You're just over there playing with yourself.
No. Whoa,
Comes,
hey, whoa,
comes out
whoa.
after the game. Oh my
What kind
god,
of
this
stream
guy,
is this?
he was
What
just
kind
copying
of
every move
podcast
I
is
made.
this?
It was incredible. He was just playing so well.
Did you guys see that? No, I was playing a guy. He had the Lost Box from Singapore too, and it's just a decent deck. It's a pretty good deck. I think it needs a Radiant Zard in there somewhere. I don't know.
That's what the Zygarde's for. Come on, a big Unga Bunga. No, I'm kidding. But yeah,
But no,
so
Mitch.
go ahead.
Oh no, my bad, Sue. I don't want to steal
No,
your thunder. I
no,
mean, you did the
no.
whole episode by yourself. You know what
Yeah,
you're doing.
well, I mean, I wasn't by myself. I had 3 people here. I mean, come on.
Okay, my bad. You hosted a whole episode by yourself. So.
Oh, thank you. What a privilege to be your co-host sometimes, Gazer. I swear.
Oh, Steuben. Oh.
That was sarcastic. Don't
Oh.
don't get your panties in a bunch.
Yes, Mitch. This is one of this kind of podcast where it's one of those kind of things.
Yeah, we're not Lake of Rage. We're not the Metapod. We're not Tag Team. We're
all great podcasts, by the way.
Yeah,
But,
no, not knocking.
Great character, laugh.
Yeah, we're not anywhere as good as those guys. But we can at least attempt to be entertaining in some shape or form. I'm not saying they're not entertaining.
You heard it.
Yeah,
Lake of Rage, Metapod, and Tag Team podcasts are not entertaining.
Different kind of entertaining. More like
since we're not in a serious environment, I just very quickly need to text my wife and tell her that her food has arrived.
Feel free.
Yeah.
Mitch was waiting to see what kind of podcast this was. Like, oh, okay, I could do this. Then this is fine.
Like, we're all good. It's good.
But no, Mitch,
we're crazy.
Yeah, no, Mitch. You've been doing the YouTube thing for how long now?
I'd be closing in on maybe 4 years now, maybe. Not that I've been posting every single day since I started the channel, but I started the channel in 2017, and then I think 2019 is when I started doing lots of actual like videos. So yeah, it's been going relatively well for a while.
So Mitch, you said 4 years, man. That's like I can't even conceive that. I tried YouTube for like a year and a couple months, and I'm like, this is the toughest thing. Streaming's easy, but YouTube really is so tough, man. How do you? I know you've had moments too where you need a break, you need time, but how do you even get through 4 years, man?
Well, I mean, I'm in that moment right now, right? Like, I'm on a pretty significant break from making videos now. But yeah, it's hard. Like, it does get really, really tough, especially in the TCG where people are always looking for the next thing. So there's never a moment where I can put out a video and have it like just carry the channel for a week and a half and then put out another one in 2 weeks' time. You have to have one every single day because otherwise you just disappear. So it is very, very tough, and it led to some pretty significant burnout, especially halfway through last year. That was brutal, and I'm probably still feeling it from then. But yeah, the key is just to make sure that you're actually enjoying it, right? So like recently, I've only been doing videos when I actually have a deck that I'm interested in talking about. So like my last video was on the 12th of September, which is 10 days ago as we're recording. And that was on Clefairy, because I was just like, that's a cool deck, I'm going to play that. And since then I've not really seen anything that I'm like, oh, that's cool, I'm going to play that. So I've not made a video, and it does wonders for your mental health. Doesn't do very well for your analytics, I'll say that much. But it's good for your mental health, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I'm not even like anywhere near anybody else when it comes to it, but I'm like I get burnout. I do. And like I do physical like videos. Like I don't want to do PTCGO. Like so like I'm constantly like sleeving up a deck and playing with it and then profiling it. Then I got a mess in the corner of one room where it's just like all these just damn cards piling up everywhere.
I have enough card piles when I'm only playing League and I play the same 60 every week. I've got enough card piles then. I can't imagine making in-person content. That'd be brutal.
It's pretty rough sometimes. Yeah. So that's quite the mess.
You guys do something that I struggle to do. It's so tough.
You just don't want to do it, Gazer.
It's tough.
You say that every time.
Because it's tough.
It can be, but it's not. Yeah. It's not impossible. But you definitely
it's not impossible.
I mean, I think into it.
Yeah, and I think because you and I have had conversations, Steuben, and you talked about some of the burnout you talked about, and Mitch, you've been up front, just open about your burnout before, and we've talked to other people before, Steuben. I think of Sean from For the Win. Mm-hmm. He talked about his burnout before, and we talked to plenty of other people who have moments where like what do I do? What do I do next? This kind of content you have to constantly churn out, like you said, Mitch, and it can be tough. It can be nerve-wracking. It can be mentally exhausting. So I get it.
There's nothing worse than being like, I've got a video that comes out tonight, So I put all my videos out at midnight because that's the best time for American viewers because they're the biggest part of my audience. So I've got a video that's coming out at 12. I've been trying to get a game on PTCGO that's actually like watchable with this deck that is complete jank, and it is now 10 o'clock at night, and I haven't got anything, and now I've got 2 hours to figure it out. That's the worst part, like trying to figure out what you're gonna do in those moments, and like I mean, it's such a first world problem to be like, I can't put out enough Pokemon TCG videos on YouTube. Oh no, my life is so hard. But in that very moment, it's very stressful.
Yeah, we all have our gripes about stupid stuff, like Baltimore Regionals. We can get into that in a few. But before we go too much further, you ready for the 6th prize turn, Gazer?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't done this in a while. This is gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. We haven't done one yet, technically, this season. So how this works is we're gonna ask you 6 random questions back and forth. They may or may not be Pokemon related.
Okay.
Sometimes we ask about like food and stuff, but that might be like kind of weird with the the continent differences here. So who knows if you have certain things? I'm assuming that like if I go pretty generic, that like we'll have like a comparative answer or whatever.
You'll be fine, yeah.
But if I ask a question that makes no sense, just let me know and I'll come up with another one.
Generic. So like, do you like sugar or do you like not sugar? Like stuff like that. Like, real basic.
Not that generic.
Sugar, please.
All right, Gazer, you want to do the first?
Yeah, I'll take it. Clefairy or Lunatone?
Clefairy, definitely.
I agree.
Coke or Pepsi?
Oh, if it's regular, Coke. If it's sugar-free, Pepsi Max.
Okay.
Speaking of sugar, sweet or sour?
Ooh. I'm gonna say sour.
Favorite Pokemon generation?
Favorite Pokemon generation is Gen 5, Black and White.
Oh, Gazer's least favorite.
What?
Best one.
Okay, that was my question actually.
I'll provide some context.
Go ahead. While I think of a different question. Why I used to look up to you, man.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. Let's hear this real quick.
Okay.
So my Pokemon journey from when I was a kid, like I grew up in the 90s because I'm an old man and played Pokemon. Played Yellow was the first game that I physically had, but I had Blue through another method which the Pokemon company would not approve of. And then Silver, and I played Silver a ton. And then I grew up a little bit, and Pokemon wasn't cool anymore, so I didn't play Gen 3, didn't play Gen 4, and then when I got to university, Black and White came out, so I played that, and I played that for something like 800 hours, because Pokemon's great, and I love playing Pokemon, trying to build, like, this shiny living dex on Black and White, which was incredible, and then I just kept playing all the way through, and then we got to X and Y, and I was like, nah, I'm going to take a break, I've got to go and do my life. And then Gen 3 came back around again, so I still have not played any games from Gen 3. I've only ever played all of the other ones, never played Gen 3.
Just take IGN's review, too much water. It's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah, too much water. I can't deal with it. I don't like surfing. But yeah, Black and White's my favorite because it got me back into the game.
Wow. I feel bad for you. That's
okay.
That's terrible, Mitch. I'm sorry, man. That's wow.
You know, like Samurott? Samurrott's sick.
Samurott, he's the best starter out of the 3, which is sad.
Definitely, that's true. That's true.
I can go on a whole rant about why Gen 5 is bad, but we'll say that for a different stream.
All right, no worries. We'll do that another time.
It's so bad. I gotta diverge for a second. Look, Gen 5 was meant to be a reboot, right? A soft reboot in a way.
Yes.
You don't have to hit the basic, Pokemon Red and Blue game beat for freaking beat, and that's exactly what they did. And I hated that.
Fair enough. See, I like it. I like Red and Blue. It was nostalgia for me.
I like Red and Blue, but they hit it, instead of, switching it up. Hey, there's a fighting dojo. We have a fighting dojo. Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, we have Sock and Throw. Oh, you guys have Grimer and Muck. We have garbage bags.
I love garbage bags. Garbodor's great. I played Garbodor to Day 2 at Worlds. He's a champ.
I mean, in the card game, he's terrific. Yeah, you're not wrong. I'll give you that. But Pokemon design, come on.
Yeah, well, I suppose. That's all right. I don't think we're going to change any minds here.
But all right, so this is the last question, right? My question?
Yeah, technically I ask one more.
That's right. I'm the 5th. Okay.
Yeah, yep.
You took my question, so I have to think of a different one.
Oh.
so far, okay, with the between Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, and Lost Origin, what's your favorite set so far?
Favorite set is probably Brilliant Stars, because Arceus is the best card out of those three, I
Okay,
think.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
If you had to choose one sleeve brand for the rest of your life, what would it be?
It would be literally these ones that I have in front of me. I am not sponsored by Dragon Shield, but if you're playing anything other than Dragon Shield non-glare blacks, you're making the wrong decision.
You're making the
Okay.
wrong statement. You're the wrong decision.
You don't like the
Literally,
dual?
it's
You don't like the
literally
dual
the
mats?
only one that you need.
Oh man, I love the dual mats though.
There's
Like,
another box. Heaps of them around here. I can't physically get to any of them, but
okay.
I might have to try some of those. I tried dual mats. They're pretty nice too. I've been playing standard Dragon Shields. I tried the dual mats about
I will say this:
about a month ago.
they're not very good for like if you're a collector because they make the cards like very matte, so you can't see the shine on them. But they shuffle really well. They last for ages. Brilliant.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. I'll take your word for it on that. Now, if you said anything about Gen 5,
Yeah, well,
Too late for that.
that's all right.
It's okay.
It's
I also like Gen 5.
what?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's the end of the 6 price turn. Let's move on to something else. I'm at a
Controversy.
loss for words.
Oh, controversy.
We can talk about some
Yes.
controversies.
Gen 5's controversy.
Baltimore Regionals was an absolute shit show.
Let's hear it.
We were in a basement. It was hot. We paid $70 and got scammed. Cheaters
how'd
went
you get
rampant. How did I? Okay, so
Jeez.
with signing up, they promised everybody a $20 Ultra Pro voucher in addition to your other swag. So
They
drawstring
justified the
bag.
increased entry for.
Yeah. Drawstring bag, playmat, promo card. As of
seen the
today, like tonight, they have issued a promo code on their Twitter account, the TO's Twitter account, for Ultra Pro to get your $20 off. But their shipping is, whew. One of the Canadian players who came and went, they said that they had shipping for $8 worth of sleeves to be $40. So at that point, is it worth it to use this $20 coupon? Probably not. But also, all the Giratina playmats, the Colress promos, not everybody walked away with those.
I heard about that.
The Pokemon Go players also were given the choice of a playmat or a hat with their signups. So it makes me curious as to like, where's all this going? You know, where's all the money going? Where's it coming from? What does a TO give into everything? What does Pokemon give other than maybe prize support? Who nobody really has a true answer. I would love to try and get like a regional level TO on the pod, but like they probably couldn't never talk about anything. They're probably under NDA and
Some type of non-disclosure, yeah.
so on and so forth, where they actually couldn't like disclose like what actually goes into it. Because I mean, like the community really wants to know, like between the crazy inflation, the $70 entry fee, and for prizing to be worse than it's ever been before, like what's happening with all this stuff? And I mean, like, just I don't know anymore. I don't.
Well, I've seen different tweets about people not receiving their playmats or their promos. First off, those playmats are sweet.
It's underneath my keyboard right now. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Playmat was beautiful. I saw that. I was like, wow. I wish I just wish I registered for the playmat and didn't do anything else. But the playmat was great. The promo was cool. It was Colress, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And that's a usable card right now, so that's cool. I didn't know you guys got a drawstring backpack, so that's cool too. But I've seen a lot of people tweeting about how they hadn't received stuff or they ran out of stuff. Do you feel like, and maybe Mitch, you can attest to this too, you have an answer for this. Do you feel like just the sheer number of participants it just kind of overwhelmed them, or what happened?
Weird, right? Like, I can't talk to American regionals because in Australia our biggest regionals is like 150 players. which doesn't mean that it's easier. I'll say that much. It's definitely not easier. It's just smaller. But I can imagine that with TOs having to pay for like bigger spaces, they need to boost the price up, and things are more expensive now anyway. But I think for if it's my perspective, and this is all based purely on my thought, I have no evidence to back this up at all. But honestly, I think the game's getting too big for what Pokemon want it to be. So Pokemon have always, in my mind, treated the tournaments like system as advertising for the game. It's not like where Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or any of these other card games where the tournament system is this big like hype thing that they put a huge amount of money into because that's the end goal. Pokemon's always been like playing in the tournament system is great because more people buy the cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're at a point now where Pokemon needs to decide what they want the tournament system to be because there's so many people playing. Even in Australia, our numbers are shooting up. Europe's numbers are shooting up. Biggest US regionals on the weekend.
I think Pokemon
Do
cards are
they
hitting
want
China
this to
right now.
continue being an advertising thing, or do they want to turn it into a big tournament system like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh? And if they want to do that, then that's great. But they need to communicate that with players really soon. If they don't, then I think we're just going to see more of the same where venue costs are going up, therefore tournament costs are going up, and it's, as it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, numbers in general on the rise. Pokemon made the most money they've ever made last year in general. It is crazy though too. But like also with like Yu-Gi-Oh, it's simple for them to like you do okay at one regional, you're going to your nationals.
Yeah.
And then from there, like only so many people go on to Worlds, and it's a much more exclusive event. And it definitely does feel like Worlds is very exclusive this year, not just for Americans, but for everybody with the point thresholds, the amount of events. I think today that they opened up registration for an SPE, and I think it like super capped out very fast in Europe. So
I can't. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers are going to be like in Australia. I think Australia is probably going to be fine. But the issue is we haven't had any events announced yet in Australia.
at
So
all,
at the moment we are waiting for a date for Oceania International Championships, and I guess if you don't win that, then you're not going to Worlds in Australia because it's the only event that we know is happening.
You know, Oceana's coming. That's a given. But I'm sure you guys will have more. You got to have more, right? I'm guessing at least 3, 4.
We
5?
have to. I think what's happening is the TOs who organise them here, are probably trying to negotiate stuff with Pokemon because we've got the same problems just on a smaller scale. We used to have our regionals in like the local town hall and stuff because it's the biggest venue that we could get, and so now we need to shift up to like convention centers because there's that many people and there's not enough people to justify the rent for those at the moment. So I'm sure that there will be some announced at some point, and no doubt they will be in Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney, and Perth because that's where they always are. But we have to wait.
yeah, not knowing for everybody, no matter where you are, is kind of a problem. The transparency of TOs and TPCI is honestly, it feels like it's just not even there. Like we have no idea about anything until it's too late. Look at last week when they dropped the CP numbers. They also screwed up the regional schedule.
Yeah, that's quite funny. I wonder who was like on the person who's on the editing thing for that page. That's just completely stuff up all the dates. Like that's really strange.
I think Toronto is still wrong.
It's still incorrect on
Azul
the
mentioned that.
Pokemon
He said he
website,
can't believe
which
that's
is-
happening. He said he can't believe it was still incorrect. And yeah, it's I think Mitch, you touched on it. This is getting bigger, which is good for us because we love playing Pokemon cards. This is cool. It's great. It's getting bigger.
It's a good
But
thing.
yeah, it's a good thing. But now, like I said, the Pokemon company has to make a decision. Are we going to focus more on cultivating this and helping it along, or is it still just about how much money can we get from this and who cares?
Yeah, is it about just getting more players at the event, or is it about making it an actual thing that people could potentially do? Like even to the point where people might be able to do it professionally, just to play the game. Like that would be incredible if that's an end goal that's possible. And I mean, I don't know Pokemon's finances, but I'm sure that they have enough money to boost the pricing a little bit.
I'd be doing okay. Yeah, I think they're doing okay.
Smidge.
They're not quite Disney levels, but they're getting close.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
They're doing okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be all right.
The thing about Pokemon's finance that's always got me is travel awards stuff. So I don't know what the system is like in America because I don't know what flight prices are like over there. But in Australia, for Worlds this last year gone London, the travel award was $3,000 US. That didn't cover the cost of the flights for players to get to London. So people who were in top 8 still had to fork out their own money to go. So it's just crazy. And I'm sure that that's a COVID related issue where prices of flights have gone up, and a fuel related issue and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure that that's the argument that can be made to justify why it should remain at $3,000. But when you've got players who are in the top 8 and they've earned their travel award and they can't go for free, it's pretty rough.
Jeez, yeah, that's bad. I know, like looking at like Yokohama flights, they're like 1,500 round trip US from
Well, I think
my
that's gonna be
area.
better for us. I think we're in for a better trip there because Japan's closer.
Yeah, you're a lot closer in comparison, and I mean, like it's good too that like they're gonna move where Worlds is every year apparently now instead of just being in the States. It gives everybody else.
That's good.
It gives everybody else around the world like a better opportunity to actually attempt to go.
Yeah, but it's hard when you're like, well, we've only got 4. I know that we've only got 4. Like the top 4 players in Oceania get travel award now because they changed the system. We used to have like Malaysia and Singapore and Indonesia and stuff, but now it's just Australia and New Zealand, which means that only the top 4 players are getting travel award, which means that it's impossible for anyone to get travel award without flying to Brazil. So no one is going to try apart from 4 people who will just get it because they flew to Brazil. And so yeah, it's just kind of like that's just the way that it is now for us. We just go forward like this, I suppose.
Do you think the system as it is favors the rich?
Well, I think it's ultimately it's the same as any like professional sport, right? Like if you're an athlete and you're aiming to go to the Olympics, then I can tell you that it's way easier to get there if your parents are rich than if they're not. So I think it's exactly the same as that. If you've got the money to travel, then you've got more opportunities to be successful. You still need to be good.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you can pay for it. But if I'm a top tier player and I can afford to fly to Brazil and then to Europe and then to America to go to all of the ICs, then I've obviously got way more opportunities to be successful and way more opportunities to get the money that then sends me to the next place. I think Natalie Miller, who's an Australian player, very, very strong Australian player, was in I think she was first in Oceania last year. She said that a Worlds invite should be available to players who are like students. So you should be able to achieve an invite off of a very modest income. It's not to say that you should be able to get the top of the top, like you shouldn't be guaranteed to get that travel award, but you should at least be able to qualify on locals and a couple of regionals that are nearby.
Yeah, and any word for everyone there that with like cups and stuff coming back for you guys sooner than us or no?
We've only got the information that's been sent out to TOs in America. I know that my local stores have started entering stuff on PEM, which is the Pokemon manager.
Yeah, it's the Pokemon Event Manager. It's basically Tom's replacement.
Yeah,
and it's not a very good software. It's more visually pleasing than Tom could have ever been, but any sort of issues and it locks up and it freezes.
Yes, a lot of my TOs are disliking it.
Yeah. I only run PEM when I have to for sanctioning purposes. So like the pre-release I ran PEM, but if I'm just doing like a pickup tournament at my store, I still run it on Tom.
Yeah, fair enough.
Our professors have been
interesting that Pokemon keeps putting out software that's an upgrade but a downgrade at the same time.
Yeah, live.
Some type of client you're talking about there.
Some sort of client, an online client of some description.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But yeah, I mean, like Baltimore, in addition to just like the costs and the late start and the late ending, the city itself wasn't super pleasant. And then just there was a lot of cheating going on.
Well, I heard a lot of complaints on Twitter. I mean, everything. I was living vicariously through you guys through Twitter and through the stream and everything.
You were much better off living through Twitter than actually being at the event.
Well, I heard a lot about how just the city just wasn't great and just the experience wasn't great.
Yeah.
But how much cheating is a lot of cheating? What are we talking about here?
I mean,
any cheating is a lot of cheating. It's too much.
any cheating that goes
Any
through gets caught on stream and isn't given repercussions for is too much. I had an instance in round 3. My opponent had some cards double sleeved and some cards not.
Oh.
Well, that's an easy judge call.
Okay, if you were the judge, what would have you done? Because I don't think they handled it
I've
super.
not done the training, so I don't know what the guidelines there would be. But I would say that would be marked cards, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they just made them de-sleeve the double sleeves and gave them a game loss. So they didn't.
I mean, had you started playing when you noticed?
Yeah. So we're in game 1, and they didn't seemingly have an out to the situation. And then they play Hisuian Heavy Ball. They use a Rangaroo and move a card and so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden they get excited and they're like, all right, cool. And they're moving a little bit faster. They're picking up their pace. And then they play a Boss's Orders.
Yeah.
And the Boss's Orders hit the discard pile. I brought my Pokemon up, and then I noticed a glare from the card.
Yeah.
As it was in the discard pile.
It wasn't on the rest of the cards? Just that
wasn't,
one card?
it was really shiny for some reason. So I was like, can I look at your discard pile? They're like, yeah, sure. I pick it up and I look through. That Boss's Orders is double sleeved. I'm going through the rest of this discard pile. Full Art Clara, double sleeved. Shiny Inteleon, double sleeved. Everything else? No. So they had all their gold, their full arts, and their shiny cards all double sleeved. I didn't say anything to them. I put their discard pile down. I didn't say anything at all. I just raised my hand and yelled "Judge" as loud as I could. And they came over and then got the deck check team, and they didn't even. The judges never picked it up or looked at it, which made me very. No, this kind of like made me feel pretty bad about it, because like they didn't even like verify that the dude.
So what'd you say? You raised your hand. And you're like, "Hey, Judge, I think he has double sleeves."
I mean, I didn't have to think he had double sleeves. He had double sleeved cards. Of all people, Sack was at the table right beside me.
Yo, our boy Sack?
So yeah, Sack 17 was literally at the table beside me.
Sack it?
As this all went down, and everyone around was just like, "Oh god, this guy's gonna get yeeted," and they just gave him a game loss. And I
can see the what round was it?
3.
Was it round 1?
3.
Round 3. Okay.
3 rounds where no one caught on to this.
No one noticed. That's brutal. Yeah, I can see the logic, especially if the player doesn't have a prior record. You're like, okay, well, you lose a game here, and then undouble sleeve them and go from there. But I think it's an issue with communication between judges and players. I think it's the biggest thing. People don't know, first of all, what the rules are. So they don't know what they are allowed to call people out on, and they don't know the process. And then when you have the call happen, you don't know what the outcome's going to be, right? So like you guys are expecting this guy to get DQ'd because he's got double sleeved cards on some and not on others, which is marked cards. But if that's not the process that they follow in the rulebook, then they have to follow the process that's in the rulebook, right? So players don't know the rules. We don't have the communication from judges necessarily, or we do, but players don't take the opportunity to take that information. So like you might have a Will Post character post something up on Twitter and like here's all the rules that you need to be aware of, but people won't read it. So there's a big issue in that side of things. But then there's also an issue in the amount of players that just get away with the most suspect things because people don't know that they're happening, first of all, or they don't know what their recourse is. They don't know what they are allowed to do when they see something that's suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, like the Isaiah Bradner had 2 situations against him, one on stream and then one in a separate round with a whole different player.
Yeah,
and yet he played. Yeah, he played through the entire tournament with no discourse at all.
Well, and that's the real concerning ones. The allegation on Twitter that's going around about the potential palming of cards. In that instance, allegedly, no judge was called because they didn't know what the recourse was.
Yeah, and it goes back to what you said, Mitch.
Again, the issue is the player doesn't know what the outcome is. Because like regularly at League, right, what will happen is players will play against people that they know and that they trust, and if something goes wrong, they'll just sort it out themselves because you're with your friends, right? Like, I'm playing against a mate of mine, something stuffs up, oh, we'll just figure out what happened and then we'll keep playing because we're here to play for fun. And then people take that same attitude into a big tournament like a regionals, and then they meet someone that they don't know, and they try and apply the same logic, and you don't know whether it's a genuine accident or whether it's malicious, and that's an issue. We need to educate people about what they're actually able to do when they feel uncomfortable in a game.
Yeah, that's definitely not communicated enough. It's not on the surface, like, easily accessible. Like, technically, like, the penalty guidelines and all these things, they are available, but it's not easily accessed. You definitely have to go out of your way to find these things.
Yeah, and even when they are, like, the guidelines are there, they don't always get followed because certain situations get interpreted in different ways. So, like, we all agreed that we probably think that those are marked cards when they're double sleeved, but it might go under, like, a sleeving error, or it might go under some other error in the judge's rulebook that they're then adjudicating on. So, yeah.
Yeah, so they let him unsleeve. The judge never picked it up and verified that they unsleeved the double sleeve cards completely and thoroughly.
That's the wild part, though. You said the judge even looked at them to begin with. Though,
so
right?
The floor judge or head judge, I don't remember because I they happen behind me, and I'm not like trying to look away while this guy has double sleeve cards or not. If I look away too long, he could probably palm something. I don't know. I can't trust him as far as to throw him, basically. And so I don't know which one, but I know it was Szymanski that came over at first, and he's like, well, let me get the deck check team. And then that judge kind of like was like, all right, go ahead and take them out, and we'll give you a game loss, and so on and so forth. So guy gets a game loss, and then game 2 he lets me go first. I'm playing Mew without Mailetta and whatnot, so I have a really good turn, set up board state, Mew down, and couple Genesects, so on and so forth. And then it's his turn, and he starts the game with the Mysterious Tail Mew, and doesn't activate the ability, and doesn't play anything else in his hand. He just kind of like fumbles there, and he looks like he looks like real mad, like real angry. And he's just like looking at his cards. All right, go ahead, show me energy and VMAX, and congratulations. Like didn't even attempt to play. He didn't even attempt to play it out.
I mean, that happened to me last night, by the way.
There's two things that could have happened there, and I'd like to give the guy the benefit of the doubt and be like, okay, well, it's one of his first major tournaments, and he's upset because he didn't realize that was the rule. And I'd like to think that that's what it was, because I don't know who it is, and I'm not going to cast aspersions about them. But that's also something that someone who gets caught doing the wrong thing when they know they're doing the wrong thing would do. So.
Yeah, so
playing, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
I would tend towards benefit of the doubt. Maybe he just didn't know.
Yeah, and I don't know them very well. Like I could technically go on Arcanine and give you I know their first name off the top of my head. I don't know their last name. I could get it off Arcanine if I really wanted to, looking at my pairings. And I don't want to start a witch hunt. I don't want to cause any CD drama or whatever. But just like the attitude of them after the fact, like made me feel like, okay, they were being malicious.
Well, you said the cards that were sleeved up were like more expensive cards, right?
Yes, and that's another thing too, to like think that maybe benefit of the doubt there, just like Mitch just said.
And then again, what you just said to the game too, that exact situation happened to me last night. I was playing my Zork deck, which I took first place with Monday, and I tanked yesterday. But I was playing the same deck, had Mew out. They went first, I went second. Mysterious Tail. I said, okay, if I get a quick ball, I could be okay because I had stuff in hand.
No, Gazer, he didn't even attempt. He didn't even attempt to Mysterious Tail. No, he had Mew with Mysterious Tail. He did not even attempt to use the ability.
Oh, so he was just salty.
He just got tilted.
And then afterwards, signing the match slip, he was just like, anything it takes to win, I guess, right? And I was just like, good luck in the next round. Wow. And I walked away.
Anything it takes to win.
See, this is another thing, right? Is that funny. We have this weird culture in Pokemon. I don't know if it's present in other games, but it definitely feels like it's prevalent in Pokemon in particular, where calling people out on that stuff is a bad thing, right? Like it's a negative to be like, oh, you're just a stickler for the rules or that kind of stuff. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, other games people call them rule sharks and so on and so forth. Like, oh, he sharked me, or whatever.
Yeah, but
But I don't know if this guy was Zach Cooper Jr. or what. Like, I don't know if I could trust him.
Yeah,
So
no, you don't know.
I have to look out for
No, you gotta do it
myself
right.
Yeah, you do.
and everybody else, and like who's to say that they didn't do this stuff to their opponents in previous rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't shuffle. And the guy who I got dunked with Mew, his Mew deck dunked my Mew, my baby Mew. For game one, I'm shuffling. I'm doing card to card shuffle that way, and then I go to do a riffle shuffle, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't trust myself, so I'm watching as I riffle, and I've been doing it. No one ever said anything, and he's like, hey, he called over the judge. He's a judge as well too, but he called over the main judge. He said, hey, okay. He said shuffle again. He said I just want, I wanted to see if he sees what I see. And I did the same thing, like, oh, well, when you riffle that way and you look, people could, assume you're looking at the bottom of your card. You could kind of tell what's going on. I'm like, oh, and, I didn't know because no one ever said anything. I said, I'm looking because I'm not confident in my shuffling yet. So I'm trying to make sure, okay, are the cards falling into place? Are they riffling in place? But, he's like, someone else could look at him like, hey, you're cheating. I'm like, okay. I said, thank you for telling me that. I said, I'll work on it. He said, just if you start looking at it, then avert your gaze, look up, look to the side, look your opponent in the eye, but don't continuously look at the cards. I said, okay. So it's not like I didn't feel like I was being real sharked, or being attacked, or he's going too far, he's doing too much. But it actually it's helping me. It's going to help me.
I think you just need to practice shuffling at home.
It's hard. It's like
Do it
YouTube.
with
It's hard.
codes. Let's get a stack of codes and just sit and shuffle with them.
It's Mitch with the sack of codes. It's like YouTube. It's hard. I'm not good at it yet. I gotta keep practicing. But no, we should.
Shuffle.
No, I don't think anyone should feel like I can't come to a judge or can't explain what's going on. I mean, Super, I'm glad you just raise your hand and say, "Hey, yo, judge," and that's good, man. And I don't know, dude got that salty, got that upset about it.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to call a judge. I mean,
Yeah.
being a TO and judge myself at a local level, like I'm not afraid to like call for them. Yeah, so
But I think it's about making sure that everyone has that same attitude.
Yeah.
You should every time if you feel uncomfortable or if something's gone wrong, you should call a judge, even if they just come across and go, "Yep, it's nothing." It's better than leaving it and it being something.
Yeah, because if you don't know, then then you could get taken advantage of.
Yeah, exactly.
And that just creates
WBC, our editor, turn this into a YouTube short for us right here. Always call a judge.
Always call a judge.
Always call
There's
a judge.
literally no downside to calling a judge. They'll even give you more time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They gave us a 6-minute time extension, including the time that was that they took to unsleeve the double sleeve cards.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, like, cool. But
that's a relatively satisfactory conclusion, and as long as the guy doesn't do it again, then it's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer they lasted in the tournament after that, though.
Yeah.
So, I know our buddy Vulcan Turtle. He told me that one of his opponents shuffled and cut his prize cards after Vulcan played Hisuian Heavy Ball, and his opponent happened to see what was in the prize cards. He noticed that there was a Palkia in there, and that Vulcan had one in play and one in the discard pile, so he knew to target down that Palkia that was in play to end the game for him. And his opponent said it to him after the fact. And I wish that like he would have called a judge, and he's like, "Oh, but the game was already over. I don't know what I could have done." Like, and I get that.
Yeah,
I get that, but still, like, call a judge.
Yeah. The big thing is that there's like every player has a record like of the calls that they've made. Like it's available to the judges. They can see. And so even if it's just a, "Hey judge, this happened. The result is now over, but this happened." It'll at least go on the record.
And if it happens again, then they can escalate those.
You start building a record, and you start building a yeah.
You can build an idea of the type of people that are playing the game.
Yeah.
So like I'll
have a reputation.
I'll have a record of the time when I got I got a slow play call against me because I was taking too long to make a decision because I was trying to think of a good decision. So that'll be on my record for sure. Like, and if it continues, right? If there's multiple instances where I have the same call against me, then judges start to apply more strict penalties. Reasonable.
Yeah, if you're not a good noodle, you don't get a sticker and you don't go on the board. And if you go on the other board, then they see that.
You go on the bad boy board.
Oh yeah, I'm a good noodle. No, you become a repeat offender, and that tends to happen.
Well, and that's also people didn't understand that about the Washington Worlds final, right? When when Henry Brand won against Shintaro, and Shintaro had that 2-prize penalty, and people didn't understand why that was because in the tournament, he'd been warned multiple times about that exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then they built a case, and they go, okay, well, here's the prize penalty because you're continuing to do this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
You build a
slap on the
reputation
wrist
of
this
something
time.
and- yeah. So yeah, I wish how did he see Vulcan's prizes? I wish Vulcan would have, said something even after the fact, like you said, Mitch. But how did he see Vulcan's prizes?
He instead of you play heavy ball, you have to technically offer a cut of your prize cards.
But how did he like?
So his opponent his opponent picked them up and shuffled them and looked at them as he did it, like like that side eyed kind of like how you were warned by your opponent, like, hey, don't look at your cards while you're shuffling them, you filthy animal, like that sort of situation.
Me and I would shuffle.
Look literally anywhere else in the room.
Yeah, so the dude just like looking at his prize cards as he's shuffling, just like, oh, cool, there's a Palkia in here, and there's one in play, and there's one in the discard pile. This guy doesn't play 4. So yeah, just be careful. Take care of yourself. Call a judge. Don't be a dingus.
This has been
a PSA from the Gust of Wind podcast.
The more you know.
But yeah, so Baltimore wasn't the best experience. You said probably bottom 3.
Yeah,
bottom 3
that I've personally been to. Yeah,
for you, for you personally.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was a lot of controversy going on, between all of that. Some of that spilt over into Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
It got pretty rambunctious.
It sure has.
Have you?
It's usually such a positive place,
isn't it?
It's like Disneyland,
Yeah.
Just
it looks amazing
after everyone's shift is over.
Everyone's being exploited.
It's a tiny, tiny world.
Easy, hey, easy.
I said, yeah,
tiny world.
Yeah,
okay,
tiny world.
We're fine.
Yeah, we're okay. Good.
But no, Twitter controversy, and this is a light controversy. Stu, I don't know if you heard about this one. There are some people on Twitter who are saying that the Pokemon trading card game Live is a decent game. And that's stirred up a lot of.
I thought we were going back to talking about some more. All right, here we go. This is the one. This is why I'm here.
Mitch, take it away. The platform is yours. I remember I saw your tweet. You said, "Hey, I might as well download Live and let's see what happens." And you downloaded it, and you tried it, and
I think it's perfectly fine. I think that all of the complaints about it are either overblown or are about things that decisions that have been made in the past that players have made that they shouldn't have made, or they don't like the way that it looks. So I'm just going to monologue for about 5 minutes here, if that's okay.
Go for it.
First of all, if you are from Canada, Mexico, Australia, or New Zealand, or Italy, France, and Germany, I think those are the countries that are in the beta.
Yeah, they just expanded it. Yeah.
There is literally no reason for you to not download and play Live at all. There's no reason for you not to do it. You can play on the same account as your current PTCGO username, like the same player account from Pokemon. If you don't migrate your cards across, you can play both games at the same time. I have a dual monitor setup. I can play PTCGO over here and PTCG Live over here at the exact same time on the exact same account. There is no downside to it at all.
You're living a life.
Pokemon Live gives you 2 decks for free every Battle Pass. At the moment, they're giving you Zoroark V-Star and Arceus V-Star for free. The only thing you need to do to get the Arceus V-Star is to earn 80 of the premium currency, which takes about 2 days worth of dailies. So if you complete 2 days of dailies, then you get Arceus and Zoroark for free. So you just play with the regular decks for 2 games and then you get them. And when you've got those 2 decks, you don't need to migrate across. So you can just play Arkintel, which they give you for free on the ladder on PTCG Live with 0 input from you at all. So that's the first thing. Like, there's no reason not to play it. Secondly, I completely understand that people are upset that they migrated their accounts across expecting the game to be something and it wasn't that thing. Personally, I would never do that with a beta for anything because that's going to always bite you at some point. So I feel like there was an unwarranted amount of trust given to the Pokemon company in this instance for some players who migrated across and are now left with a situation that they don't like, which is completely fair. But that's not a problem with the game. That's a problem with Pokemon's communication and personal decisions. And thirdly, the way that it looks, that doesn't actually impact the game too much. I agree in many facets that the game doesn't look as good as it could. There are definitely things like the deck building screen that needs to improve, and animations take too long and that kind of stuff. But I don't think that it's so bad that you shouldn't at least try the game. I wouldn't go out of my way. Let me say that much. I wouldn't download a VPN and pay for that service as the only thing that I'm going to use the VPN for is live. I wouldn't do that. And I also wouldn't go in expecting the game to be a perfect replacement for PTCGO. Games take a little longer to find because the player base is smaller, but that's also because everyone absolutely destroyed it a year ago and no one's playing it anymore. And also there are a few bugs because the game is being built from scratch. Personally, I haven't experienced any bugs apart from the damage counters or cards being slightly bigger than they're supposed to be, which is just a visual glitch. PTCGO has visual glitches all the time. They've had that text one on cards for like 8
like
months.
the proxy effect, yeah.
Why is that
So
still there?
that's whatever. Like, visual effects are whatever. I have seen some pretty awful ones that come up in really niche situations, but they haven't happened to me personally. So I don't know whether that's an internet issue or whether it's a VPN based issue or any number of reasons why that might be working. But here's the key for me. There is absolutely no cost for you to play the game. You don't need to put anything into it, and you'll be able to play at least a semi-meta deck. And every bug that you see, you can just report and make the game better. And it's as simple as that. If you're in the zone, there's no reason not to play it. I've played about 100 games on it. I've had absolutely no issues. If they asked us all to move across tonight, I know lots of people would be upset, but I personally wouldn't because it's not as bad as people are making it out to be, in my opinion.
See, like, you're the only, like, person that's, like, gone that level-headed on the approach here. Like, everyone else is like, F this game! Cancel it!
Yeah, no. Well, and I think it comes from... Obviously, we had some really big content creators that came out at the start of live and they transferred everything across expecting it to be the best thing in the world and then were disappointed and have obviously taken those frustrations and posted them, which is perfectly fair. Like, people are allowed to do that. I will say this much. The biggest complaint that I've seen from people is that the game could be better, right? So it should be better because of the amount of money that Pokemon makes. We've already talked about the fact that Pokemon doesn't necessarily put the billions of dollars that they earn back into their players.
Their money is in the video games.
Some ways. But I will say this. It could be better. It should be better. And it likely will get better. Like, it'll probably be really, really good when it comes out officially or when you give people a chance to make it better. The issue, I think, is at the moment that the devs have had to go back and rework things that they've already done because people have complained about them so much. Like the visual stuff, I'll say this much. Some people have been like, oh, the cards, they go really small on the bench and it makes it really hard to tell what you're doing. It's like, well, if you find that really hard, then you must find the game really hard in general because you know what the cards in your deck do, surely. And if you don't, you can click on them and they make them really big. And they pop up and you can read all the little bits of text on them and it's perfectly fine.
Wait,
so
you mean to tell me people don't know how to read their cards?
Yeah, it's like, just click on the card and read it. It's like it's there. All the information is there. Yeah, I think that all of the complaints about it are completely overblown. And I agree 100% with the people who say it should be better, because I would love to see it improve, but I don't think the game is going to improve if no one plays it. Because there's no incentive for them to improve it if no one's playing it.
Makes sense. I know eventually they'll have to force people out of PTCGO one way or another.
It's going to happen at some point.
Yeah. It's a matter of when, not if.
Yeah, it's a matter of when. I think a lot of the flack it caught was, like you said, Mitch, a lot of people transferred over because, you hear beta and you think it's going to be, oh, shoot, it's out of the alpha, it's in the beta. It's almost time. This thing's going to be here. It's happening. So they all came over and said, hey, let me, try to beat the curve. And here we are close to, 10 months later?
Yep. About a year, actually, since the announcement. So, yeah,
well, I mean, the announcement
pretty close.
Since it dropped. About 10 months, right?
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah. Close to 10 months since it's dropped, and it's still, in beta. They're still working on stuff. So I think people are like, wow, that's where a lot of the hate for it came from. Visually, in my opinion, it's not very pleasing. I think it can improve. It can get better. But visually, it's just not that great right now. I know the need for with mobile in mind, which is great. I would love to play on my phone while I'm hiding out in the work bathroom. Don't tell my teachers.
I will say that is the best thing when you've got 15 minutes free and you sit
Yeah.
and play Pokemon on your phone.
And
I
that's what I
love
want to
that.
do. I want to do that while I'm at work. Sometimes or just out and about. That's gonna be great. But I think there should be like another mode that's just made specifically for like desktop because a lot of
Yeah,
people play on their desktop too.
I think that's the direction that they're heading in, right? Is that
Okay.
they're trying to augment that experience so that desktop players have less of a mobile experience. But also, I think another thing that people haven't quite, um, I guess not taken into account, but another aspect that's being given to it is since the game is being developed for mobile and desktop at the same time, they're trying to duplicate things as best they can so that the experience is similar for players that start on their phone and then move to the PC. And that means that there are going to be some things that are slightly, I guess, arcadey about it. It's not supposed to be a like full on 100% simulator of the game
On a desktop
because there are
game, yeah.
many other things that can simulate the game just as well. It's supposed to be a quick and easy experience that players can get into. And I think that they've done a really good job of getting brand new players into the game. The issue is going to be trying to convert those people that have disliked the game in the past into playing it, at least in a neutral attitude about it. That's going to be their real challenge now, just because they've had so much negative press.
I think the one thing that's held me back from attempting to like do it, and other than the VPN and being in the US and it not being like accessible here, is that like for Twitch streams, I like to battle the viewers.
Yes,
and that would
yes.
be a big problem there.
Mm. And I'll say this much, because the player base isn't there yet, I would never recommend going and migrating your account. But this is where some miscommunication has come in as well from Pokemon. If you don't migrate, you can still play on PTCGO, right? So there's no reason to not at least give it a try if you're in the beta zone. Like I said, don't download a VPN to do it. It's like, don't spend money if you can afford to. Especially to companies that aren't Pokemon.
You heard it here first. On the Gust of Wind podcast, Mitch says, "Do not spend money on PTCGL." You heard it. He said it.
Yeah, don't do that. No, don't do that either. don't spend money on PTCGO or PTCGL. You don't have to. You already spend money on a trillion billion cards. You don't need to do that. But yeah, there's no downside to playing it. You get all the stuff for free, and then you can just keep your PTCGO account until they force you to migrate, which would, could be in 2 months, it could be in 2 years. You got no idea when that's going to happen. So.
Yeah, it's hard to say what they're going to end up doing. I know they had the developers at Worlds with like a little panel there and set up, and people are able to ask questions and talk to them and give them feedback and whatnot. Maybe we'll see that at like the ICs going forward. That would be a bigger outreach, honestly, because then like that's people that like haven't had the opportunity to sample it. They could put a couple burner phones there and a couple laptops and give people the experience to try it. Another thing too is one of our friends, Logan Mana on Twitch, made another PTCGO account and migrated it over to live, but yet he marked his cards for trade on PTCGO before he left over, and the cards were still there for like weeks. He added that account as a friend and attempted to trade, and you can technically make offers with people that are offline on PTCGO. Those cards were still there. So like when you migrate, your data is still technically in PTCGO. So why couldn't they find a way to like just duplicate your collection, move you over, and still allow you to log in and continue?
That could potentially be a good solution to get people to test out the beta.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the work would need to go in to do that behind the scenes. I'm not a game designer by any stretch. I don't work with computers any more than I load up Discord and talk to you guys. But there's definitely solutions to that minor issue. But it's I think the big thing, like visually, yes, I can 100% see people's points. I've heard people say that like it gives them motion sickness because the stuff in the background's moving all the time, and that's not something that I've experienced, but I can perfectly understand that might happen.
You promote a water Pokemon and water waves crash in and
yeah, like I can completely understand that you don't like the way that it looks, and that's not a problem at all. And yeah, there's definitely things that can improve. There's ways that it can be better. I'd love to see a more detailed ranked mode where once you get to the top tier, you can then assign yourself a number and go for that number 1 spot. That would be great. I'd love to see. This is going to sound horrible, but I'd love to see a way that players who want to spend money in the game can actually do that rather than having to go to an external code site and buy codes and go in. That would be great because it means that the money stays in the game and they can use that money to improve it in the long run. I would love to see specifically the deck manager screen change significantly because that's very awkward to not to use but to see because you have to use different sections of the deck at the one time. So that's something that I'd like to see improved. But it's not this bug fest where every second game is unplayable, and it's not this like desert where no one's playing and there's no games and you can't find any. I think that all of the actual gameplay stuff, in my opinion, has been completely overblown.
Okay. So yeah, it's worth taking a look. I mean, Gazer, you and Trust Your Pilot have been going at it on Twitter.
That's where I got Trust the Pilot.
Do you want to talk about that real quick, since the pod hasn't heard about that yet?
Trust Your Pilot. He was on PTCGL for the longest time. Migrated his account, and a lot of people came back and made a second account, or found demo accounts, or traded with friends to get cards back. He just stayed with live, and he's like the only guy constantly streaming on live every other day, and he's doing his thing. He's getting he's getting up there in views now, and then after live became open beta to a few more places. He's getting more views. People are watching. And I made him an offer. I said, listen, trust me. Come back to PTCGO. I have codes lying around here because I've been buying a lot of product. I said, I have codes. I said, I also get codes from our guy Furion and other people. And I say, hey, I got stuff. I'll send you. It was a total of almost 300 codes. I said, come back to PTCGO. And he thought about it, but he was like, nah. And then Potown Store hopped in there and said, we'll add about 600 to it. And I was like, bro, you got to come back. And he said, Gazer, I'll come back on a condition. I said, what's the condition? He said, I'll come back to live for a stream if you play. I'll come back to PTCGO for a stream if you play live for a stream. And I said, oh, you son of a. Okay, I'm in. So coming up sooner or later, he and I are going to flip flop, and he's going to play PTCGO. I'm going to play live. He'll need a few cards to actually play some decks because he'll be starting over from scratch. And I guess live is starting over from scratch. Starting from scratch on live is a lot easier. So
it's way easier.
Yeah, you're gonna have a good time. He's gonna have a bad time. Yeah, he's gonna.
That's the other thing that people aren't talking about is the fact that the trading system on PTCGO is 100% predatory for new players, and anyone that says otherwise are either predators or have no idea what they're talking about.
And I'll weigh in on that one too, and I agree with you. Like I get codes from TPCI every set for PTCGO. Like I've hit that that little tiny status quo of like, all right, cool. Here's a couple codes for 50 locked packs. Those are nice. I love it. I appreciate you. Thank you, Daddy Pikachu, for the codes. But it doesn't help me build. I'm not jealous. I can't build a deck with those ever. I can never. There's never enough.
It's impossible. It is impossible to do that. And I'll say this much. I also have that same connection, so we're all friends here. I know we might want to kick Gazer off just as someone who doesn't.
You guys, yeah, that's great. I'm not jealous.
But I was having a chat with the rep, Stefan, about like live and that kind of stuff, and he goes, here, like we do a different thing in live for creators who are using live. Have this code and see how you go. And the difference was, instead of getting the locked packs, which is what you get on PTCGO for a creator, which is great, and I love them, but you get dust on PTCG Live.
And you just make whatever you want.
You can literally make whatever you want. So you get given, I think the number was 30,000, which is, it's a lot, but it's not a lot, right? So like you could probably build 3 or 4 decks with 30,000, but that's amazing, right? So it's better for creators because they get to make whatever decks they want. They don't have to like open locked packs and hope for the best. And it's better for players because when you put in your codes from the boxes that you buy or the codes that you get given eventually those credits to buy whatever you want. You don't have to sit down and go, okay, well, I bought 3 boxes of cards. I've got how much is that? 76? 100 and something codes from 3 boxes? I don't know.
108.
108? Okay, I've got 108 codes. I cannot afford to spend any more money because Pokemon is already ridiculously expensive. So 108 codes I have to trade for a deck. I hope you're not planning on trading for any decks that are good because 108 codes won't do that for you. Like, it's impossible.
Yeah, like if
So
you wanted to build Giratina day one, and I mean, if like as a content creator, I mean, you do want to, because it's gonna
Yeah,
get the
you
most
have
views and the most tractions. You have to do it. But there goes 500 packs to get a 4/3 line of Giratina.
exactly.
And then
And this is the thing for a player who wants to spend a little bit of money or a player who doesn't want to spend any money. PTCGO is a grind. It's a massive grind. Before, like, if you're a free to play player on PTCGO, it will take you weeks before you're
yeah,
in a position to be able to hold your own on a standard level game,
you're right.
and that's only if you do everything perfectly. If you don't do everything perfectly, then you're behind the eight ball for so long. And people who are like, oh, well, I can just trade the cards, I can get my deck and I can play it for a bit and then I can trade them off. You can, but that's not instant. People like wait hours for these trades to go through. I could set up a trade on my account right now and go, yeah, I'm going to trade off these cards and I want enough packs to get these cards. I'll set that for 24 hours and we'll come back tomorrow and see how you go. But I don't want to play this deck tomorrow. I want to play it now.
yeah,
Want it
like,
And
now?
live, it's more feasible to do that.
and then too, like you have to put coins into those trades, and if they don't go through, you still lose your coins. You
I don't know if that's actually true. I think you get them back.
Oh, real? I've never even noticed then.
Yeah,
If
it's
no,
usually
no,
so.
if it doesn't, no, he's right. If it doesn't go through, you lose them.
Do you? Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, there you
he is
go.
right. That's it. Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah,
But yeah, like there's a lot of things that PTCGO does well, absolutely, and the player base is bigger. The tournament system from Limitless is amazing. That's
it
incredible.
is. It
Playing the
is.
online tournaments that Pokemon have put up is all on PTCGO. That's
Hmm.
great. But if you're a free to play player, or if you're a new player, or if you're a person who wants free things and wants to lose nothing, then play live. It literally doesn't hurt you. I put a tweet up in response to a couple of things. I tweeted, I opened up live the first time expecting to unlock the gates of hell, when in reality all that happened was I played Pokemon cards. And that's true. That's all that
We
I
need
did.
both these clients to do a fusion dance and become, the best of each other.
Well,
And
and this
it's
is the thing,
coming
right?
together.
Is I actually think that at the moment, live is just PTCGO with credits instead of trading. That's literally all it is at the moment.
That's that's a spicy take.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
if
I don't think
if
that
you
live
take
is
out the
perfect.
visuals, maybe, but with the visuals going, no.
Well, I don't. Here's the thing, right? The visuals aren't a big deal for me personally, so like I don't see them as a negative.
Yeah,
But that's because
I could
I'm
care less about the visuals as long as the
yeah,
gameplay is fine.
and the
Well,
gameplay is fine. Yeah.
I've seen bugs.
Oh,
It's
there's
not
bugs.
a
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. I mean, it's a beta. It's still being worked
Yeah.
on. Of course, there'll be bugs. But I've seen bugs where people's game freezes or there's weird like earlier today, Treasure Pilot was playing a weird deck with electric. You evolve it and you flip a coin of heads, something's paralyzed.
Yeah.
For some reason, his electric had the picture of Clefairy instead.
Yeah. So like I've seen a few of these as well. I've said that I've not had them happen to me, but what I'll do, as many people do, is I'll sit and be playing Pokemon whilst I'm on a call with my friends and they're also playing Pokemon. So
Hmm.
we'll stream to each other. I had one where a friend of mine couldn't use boss's orders on one particular Pokemon,
I've heard about
which
that
just
one.
happened to be the Pokemon that they wanted to bring into the active. Now, it wasn't detrimental to the game, like he ended up still winning, but that's obviously quite frustrating. I saw one where, and I think this one was posted by, I can't remember who it was, someone from Limitless. Anyway, they hit into a Blissey that had Lucky Energy or something on it, and it drew, instead of one card, it drew four for every energy that was on it, which is
Really?
obviously not correct. So that's an issue. I've seen um, I've seen visual glitches, but visual glitches are whatever for me. I don't care about them, like the big
Hmm.
damage counters and that. That's whatever. I've seen the game load up and then both players sit there waiting for the timer to count down, and then after 25 minutes they flip a coin and it becomes the person who wins. That's a really weird bug, and I have no idea why that
That's funny.
happens. So like I'm not sitting here and telling you the game's perfect, but I will also say this much. They have built the game from the ground up because they don't have access to the source code for PTCGO. So
Hmm.
they are building a game with there's an unlimited amount of interactions and an infinite amount of cards. So they're trying to do the best that they can with that. But also remember when PTCGO came out, specifically around the GX era, there was a card called Beast Energy, which didn't work
Mm,
properly for a year and just made an entire deck completely unplayable on PTCGO for a year. It happens. Like, these bugs happen, and the only way that we fix them is by playing them and reporting them. So
Yeah, and I hear you. Now, I want to go back to what you said. You say, for anyone who plays, who does live content, they'll give you a code for a lot of the dust.
well, potentially, if you're in with the right people.
Oh, is this going where I think you're gonna
Oh,
go, Gazer?
what you're saying is, Mitch, is I need to switch over. I should take that
Okay, okay.
that bet up with
I'm
Cheshire
saying
Pilot, and
I'm saying that the lots of the bugs that I've seen happen because they get played through VPNs. I think that's a common issue. Because I think that lots of the bugs are actually related to internet performance and not to the game itself. But yes,
yeah,
you should play.
I
but
honestly thought you were
but
going to go
yes,
into the crafting cost debate that you've had with 9 card like 76 times.
no, might as well make it
Well,
79, right?
there is something that could be better. I will 100% agree with that. Is that the crafting cost stuff at the moment feels like a placeholder for a future crafting cost system.
What kind of
I
future
don't
crafting
think
cost
that.
system do you think?
Well, I think that the numbers are perfectly fine as they are at the moment. I don't have any issues with the cost of cards or the cost of dusting cards when you go over 4. But I do have an issue with having to have 4 cards and then pulling one to get dust. I think you should be able to dust the cards that you have
Just
and trade them
automatically?
into other decks. 100%.
I had a statement that no one, not a statement. I had a opinion no one really agrees on. I feel like the costs are kind of just skewed. Just I don't know. I hate the fact that I've said it before. Bradley can come by and buy 500 celebration codes, and such a small set, it gets turned into dust very easily. Be crafted with.
Yep.
Meanwhile, little Timmy Blue Shoes is just grinding and grinding and trying and grinding, and he can't get that to that same level. So
Well,
I know
this
there's pay to play, there's pay to play and pay to win in all games, but I don't know. I just feel like if you're gonna grind, let's all grind. I don't know.
See, this is where I think the system could be improved. I think that at the moment the system is set up where let's say I pull 4 copies of each art of Giratina, right? I've got the base, the full art, and the ultra rare.
Hmm.
All of those cards, 8 of them are useless because I can never play with 8 of those cards. I would love to be able to dust them and turn those 8 cards into 4 other cards that I might be able to play with. I don't like the fact that in the packs that I get given, like I pulled a full art Gallade on PTCG Live. I'm never going to use Gallade. I would love to turn that full art Gallade into a quarter of another card, but I can't because I have to wait until I pull 4
So
to
Yu-Gi-Oh!
then.
Master Duel, like
Yeah, exactly.
how they have that where you can break them down
Yep,
by rarity for a fixed amount.
a
I
hundred
can
percent.
get behind that. Yeah,
I
when I
think that
did
would
that,
be a good
I
solution.
would break cards down all the time. That I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna play this deck. Then it's perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got all these different arts of these cards, like Professor's Research, right? Professor's Research has something like 18 arts. What do I need 18 arts of Professor's Research for when I could have one? I can just dust all of the rest of them, and sure, they might only be 20 dust because they're really common or whatever. I don't care, but that's 20 dust that I could put towards another card that I don't have.
Somewhere, Sword and Shield Rillaboom is crying right now with his 15 different arts.
He's not the most arts anymore. He's been taken over by Professor's Research. But
Yeah,
yeah, so like
research. Oh man, there's different foil
there's like
patterns too.
there's 6 different like junipers.
There's the Professor Program Juniper. That's a reverse foil.
Yep.
There's the Cosmo Hollow Juniper.
Yep.
There's
Which comes with a full art box, which is another one.
there's the normal foil Juniper. There's a regular reverse foil. There's a non-hollow deck
You know,
variant. Oh yeah. Oh
oh,
my
the
god.
deck variant of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, because it
yeah,
comes in pre-release kits,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
so you
and
get
that's
a
the
non-hollow
difference.
one.
Yeah,
So
Oh,
there's 6, and that's just the ones we can remember.
and the game won't let you dust them until you have 4 of each.
Yep. And so and like I've said, I think my comments on Twitter got a bit construed a little bit, which is weird because Twitter's great for communication. I
isn't
think
it?
lots of people thought that I was like, the game is perfect. And I don't think that it's perfect at all. And there are definitely things that can be improved about it. But I don't want to make a judgment based on what the game could be. Because if we start judging games by what they could be, then nothing's ever good enough. You know? Like, we can't sit down and go live isn't worth playing because it's not what I think it should be. I think what it currently is fine, and I'm excited by the potential for it going forward.
It can only go up from here, right? It can only get
Yeah,
better.
exactly.
I
And at the
I
moment,
did like
it's
the
based
back
on
and forth you had with Flex Daddy, and Flex Daddy's been on the pod before. Shout out to Flex Daddy
Yep.
and the Tag Team Podcast. But I love the back and forth between you and Flex Daddy Righteous, you and JW. That was quality entertainment.
So we had a good time together at Worlds. I'll say that much. And that has flowed over into our discussions on Twitter.
I love it.
But yeah, I think that I can't remember exactly what his argument was, what our argument was, but I think it just came down to the way that it looks and the what it could be. And those are points that I do agree on, but I also don't think that that's a reason to not play it.
Well, I might have to switch over and get a VPN for a couple days. I'll do a free trial.
VPN, don't do it.
I'll do a
Don't
free
need-
trial just so I can trust your pilot up on his bet, and I'll try it out. He has to go back to live for a little bit, and
Here's a question for you: Are you guys sponsored by Potown?
No, we are
Okay,
I'm not.
we have no sponsors technically. We have
Okay,
a
so-
partner in the form of Furion's Pokemon. We have codes through.
So I'm not sponsored by Potown either. I think that it's really interesting that Potown put codes towards getting people to not play live.
I've seen that. They said we have 600 for
That's
you
really
if you go back to PTCGL. Trust your power was like, that's tempting, but
Yeah, we get him hooked on these 600. He'll come back for more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Well, I think that's something that those kind of companies are very afraid of, right? Because you can only put in 400 codes of one set before the codes just get turned immediately into dust. I think that's how it works. I don't know. I've not done any of that.
Oh yes, the celebrations craziness from before.
and
But I
that's
think
my issue is
I
when
think they're
little
afraid of what that's going to end up looking like, which is fair enough.
yeah, and that's my issue. That's I don't like the fact that Bradford can come through and buy up all the celebrations codes, and then has a blinged out deck in a matter of minutes. Meanwhile,
I'll say this.
Small
I'll say
Mitchell
this.
is trying to grind.
I'll say this much: I did do that celebrations thing on live. I've done that so that I can get
Mitch.
enough dust to be able to play the game.
Oh,
And I got
Mitch.
too much dust. It's too much. I literally cannot spend it.
Oh, Mitchell. Oh my goodness. This podcast. Stupid. Have you ever heard the phrase "Don't meet your heroes"?
Is that why nobody wants to come to California to meet you?
Hey, Primetime Wizards actually coming this weekend. So
Yeah, he already met the real host of the pod this weekend in Baltimore.
Okay.
So he's
he's coming here this weekend.
He's
We're gonna have a
wasting his
good time.
trip. What do you,
There's a win a case. There's a win a case tournament going on over here, so he's gonna hop on a train 4 hours.
I thought you were gonna pull the whole. Oh, you pulled a gold quick ball on PTCGL from the pack lotto. I'm gonna take you out to dinner and then I'm gonna fight you.
No, I'm not. Me fight him? No, I love that guy. But no, yeah, they say never meet your heroes, and I've met, I've talked to Mitch now, on an intimate level, and his takes about Gen 5, and he's buying all these celebration
I've got
cups.
a tweet, by the way, whilst we're talking that I need to send to you. Here we go. Let me just do this very quickly. If you're on Twitter at the moment, Gazer, I will just send this straight to you because I think you'll appreciate it.
I probably don't want to see this, do I? Oh, that's Pokemon Black and White's greater than Pokemon Red. Okay.
Oh my god, yeah, he's
That came from Senior Doom? Oh no, not Senior Doom.
Gazer's gonna die tonight.
Not Senior Doom too. No, not Doom. Oh my goodness.
Oh lord.
So we go on to the next segment, and I can't right now.
All right, yeah, we've rambled enough about live. So now we have Stonks. I want to say is the next little bit that we normally do. We talk about either the upcoming ups and downs of either the financial side of a card or for the playability side. I have a couple ones, and of course, with us, it's usually in USD, but feel free to convert however you need to.
We spend US money on Pokemon cards as well because no one sells them here, so it's fine.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. Cool. So this past weekend, unrelated to anything that happened in Baltimore, the prices of Boss's Orders Full Arts from Rebel Clash, Gold Scoop Up Net from Rebel Clash, and Gold Ordinary Rod from Sword and Shield base set have all blown to high hell. Full art bosses orders with Giovanni on them are about $50 a piece now.
What were they before?
You have the option to buy the Lysander one from this set. Why would you buy the boss
Well,
from...
the Lysander ones are about $17 to $18 for some reason.
Objectively,
What was Giovanni before?
About 30-ish on average.
Oh, that's
goodness.
ridiculous.
The scoop up nets peaked up to 50 for a little bit, but they're back to $46 now. They were $20-ish 2 weeks ago.
Peaked up to how much?
About $45 a piece for
Ooh.
gold scoop up net. And ordinary rod, yesterday, the lowest listing available on TCGplayer. Use the affiliate link down in the description if you want to buy cards on TCGplayer. It was about $20. At this exact moment in time, the gold ordinary rod is over $30. They were $7 a week and a half ago.
What's going on here? You usually know what's going on here. What's going on here?
Yeah. The current. So right now, there's 2 listings available at this exact moment of the recording for the Sword and Shield base set Secret Rare Ordinary Rod. One listing is $32.99. The next one is $33.12, with shipping not included in there. The market price is $12.62. What's happening with this stuff? Boss's orders I can't necessarily explain, because it's, that's just whatever. But Scoop Up Net and Ordinary Rod are all being played in 4s and 2s in all these single prize Lost Zone boxes.
Thank you very much, Sableye.
Yeah, Sableye, Giratina, Gudra, Colress, all these things, the Mirage Gates, or you want the energy cards in the deck, you want to be able to pick up and reuse and abuse your Compies with the Scoop Up Nets, your Radiant Greninja. Yeah, it's gone nuts, and I'm sure there's other things that I've missed, because I usually pay very close attention to the market of cards. I guess technically I didn't miss this one because I know about it, but I didn't talk about it. But Empoleon V alternate art from Battle Styles, it also went to the moon.
Yep. Ridiculous. That's like I tried to buy one from a local store in Canberra, and at the time they were worth something like 90 cents, and they were like, "No, we're going to sell it for $5 because it's going to go up."
Yeah.
And now it's probably worth more than that.
The regular Empoleon Vs are literally like $1 or less, but the alternate art, yesterday the lowest listing was like in the 40s. Technically the lowest listing is a heavily played copy for $25, but most listings of the alternate art Empoleon V from Battle Styles is about $50.
Where is it? Shall I sell it now? I have one.
Yeah, definitely sell it now because it literally has 3 months to live and then it's gone.
Yeah, we're in a weird place too, because like all these cards that have good value, like Melanie and stuff, full arts, those will instantly be worth nothing when it comes to Scarlet Violet, until like the V's fall out of favor, because you can't attach energy to your EXs.
EX.
Yeah, Scoop Up Net will do nothing other than single prize Pokemon, and it's gonna rotate. It's gonna rotate.
Yeah. All these cards rotate in like 3 months. Get rid of them.
I mean, Boss is safe. Empoleon is technically safe. He's E-block.
Yeah.
Melanie's E-block and is safe.
Should be around, but how many Vs are going to be?
Yeah.
I guess Palkia.
The card pool of Vs won't increase any further past Silver Tempest.
Yeah, I think that Palkia is on the downward trend as well, because the second that loses Inteleon, that deck becomes much more fair. And probably not as good. Yeah,
people are having the 70 HP Sobble debate all over again too.
I'm seeing that.
And
because of the Sableyes.
Play for 3 weeks and get rid of him.
the Lost Engine stuff with the Mirage Gate, like Zero Aura can attack now in a single turn. The single prize Zero Aura you put a choice spell on there and you hit it with a Mirage Gate, and there you go. There's your Palkia KO.
Counter. I think those candy box decks are going to be very exciting to see what happens with them, because there's a pretty large contingent of people who are seeing them as like the messiah. This is the solution to the problem of the format. And then there's another subset of people that are quite upset because that deck is doing what Malamar did when it, like Giratina Malamar back in the day. It's absolutely cannibalizing every other single prize option.
I think the solution is just to play a deck of just nothing but 4 Empoleons, double turbos, waters, and Melanies.
Yeah, exactly. Like those decks are. It's gonna turn into the only playable single prize deck, except for maybe Reggie's. But Reggie's is still gonna be a struggle to beat it.
Yeah, Lost City can kind of just nip Reggie in the bud real quick.
Reggie's, there's a guy that plays Reggie's locally here, and I give him Reggie's a month and a half ago, almost 2 months ago. But the guy, he plays, he busted out every now and then, plays it, and then I think last weekend he lost the first game with a Reggie deck and just got up and left. So I'm gonna go do some Uber Eats. I'm leaving. I'm gonna go drive.
Something else. I think. Well, and Reggie's also victims of rotation in that every single energy that you play in Reggie's is rotating.
When rotation hits, it's over for Reggie. So if you're gonna play Reggie, play it now. I used to love that deck, but it's falling out of favor a lot.
I still think it's really good, but the single prize counterbox deck is definitely better than it.
So. We could potentially get Rainbow Energy back with EXs.
We've always had something that was some type of colorful energy, right? Multi energy, Rainbow Energy, Aurora Energy.
Yeah.
The last 3 years has been something in rotation.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Aurora Energy come back. I think they don't want to do Rainbow Energy anymore because it's too good.
Yeah, not having that discard and like you put damage on there, and that even sets off some abilities too. Like
exactly, like if there's like a similar Zoroark V-Star card that has a colored attack cost, then free.
Yeah, just splash a couple Rainbow Energies in your Zoroark V-Star decks, and then the sky's the limit there.
I like Zoroark V-Star. I've been playing that religiously.
If you like Zoroark V-Star, then I tell you what, you get given it for free on PTCG Live, so you should definitely try live. It's free.
This guy.
I wish they were paying me.
There we go.
For my stonks, I'll go on to my stonks. I have 2 cards that I think are going to see a lot more play nowadays. One of them's really obvious. The other one's kind of like, you think so? I'm seeing, and you talked about how the single prize lost boxes, destroying everything. And I've been destroyed by this card in multiple games this past week. The Sableye. I think Big Parasol might pop up in a couple decks. It may be one of, but it might pop up somewhere just to try to slow down that. Just try to make it more difficult for that Sableye. Now they have to have enough escape ropes, or another boss's order to be able to use that attack. And also it helps against Giratina too. They can't just out with the Star Requiem. So
but you could just play water and play Wash Energy. It's the same thing, and it's safer.
You're right. But no one's doing that. I mean, I guess Palkia can start doing it.
It's in all the Kyurem decks already. It's already in all the Kyurem decks. Yeah, there's a single copy of Wash Energy in most Kyurem lists.
Just a single copy.
And also, it's like it's safer. It's technically safer than Parasol because Parasol could be jammered, scrappered, sucked up by the vacuum. Like there's what technically like 2 outs to a special energy other than like Flannery, who's playing that. But people could play Fan Waves or Crushing
Waves
Hammer.
might come back. But no, maybe Parasol, maybe right about the Wash Energy. I guess 1 or 2 of in a Palkia or Kyurem, something like that. The other card is pretty obvious. It's going to see a little more play more often. Escape Rope.
Well, already like multiple copies in most decks.
I mean, I don't mean just in Lost Box decks.
No, I mean like I've got it in Gudra, I've got it in Giratina. That I've got.
Yeah, but all those decks work with the Lost Zone. I mean, outside of those decks too.
I have it in Palkia Kyurem too.
There it is. So yeah, things going to start seeing a lot more play in just decks that don't necessarily need it. So like your Comfade, anything that's running the Comfade engine, or Lost Zone's engine, you need Escape Rope, Scoop Up Net, switches, switch cards. You need that kind of stuff. I think random decks are going to start playing Escape Rope. Just to, imagine your Reggie, there's a Empoleon V in front of you, and you Escape Rope out of it. Now you're free to have at it. So I think Escape Rope's going to see some play in more non-traditional decks for it, if that makes any sense.
What do you do if they have 2 Empoleon and no other
Pokemon? 2
Empoleon. They've made their own bed. They know what they've done.
As soon as the second opponent comes down, they're like, you know what this is. You know what's going on. But no, Mitch, do you have any cards you think are going to see a rise, playability-wise or price-wise?
It's a really interesting one. I'm not a big follower of prices of cards, so I don't know what cards cost in the first place.
You hear
I
this
only
guy
know
just
they're very
spends money, doesn't
expensive when they
care. He
come out
just
because
pulls out
that's
the
when I
wallet.
buy them. But I will say that there's definitely lots of cards from the new set that people either are sleeping on or are kind of they're not they're cards that can boost the playability of other decks. So I'll speak to this one first. I think that Arceus Inteleon is really, really good now. So all the cards that go with Arceus Inteleon are going to be better. Because we have access to Gardevoir and Lake Acuity, and both of those cards make Arceus very, very difficult to knock out. So I think that those kind of cards will be used in those decks. And therefore you probably need to see more copies of like Path to the Peak to be able to beat those, or more fighting type attackers maybe, but fighting type attackers aren't very good, so I wouldn't worry about that. I think that that's generally the direction that we're going to be going, because Palkia is going to be pretty much the same. They're just going to play Thornton in Palkia. Yeah. I'm apart from those, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I could definitely see the Gardevoir in there. Like you put a big charm, that's 30 more HP. Gardevoir, you take 20 less damage. Like Acuity, you take 20 less damage. And you already play Sharon's Care in there anyways as well. So
in that situation, Arceus effectively has 370 HP, right? Or 350 HP. Yeah.
I can't lie. I've been wrecking Arceus.
The plural of
a whole lot of those.
The plural of any Pokemon is it's its own name.
Is itself, yeah, Arceus.
English is weird. But I've been wrecking a lot of different Arceus with my Hisuian Zoroark. You know, that just it hits that sweet 280. If they have a big charm, I have a belt, and it's been nice. If they start playing Lake Acuity and they start playing Gardevoir, I'll just stop playing Zoroark. I'll just quit. I'll give up.
You can never get there with Zoroark if they have both of those cards in play.
Yeah,
and the only way that you can ever get them back down to a reasonable amount of HP is if you play Path, which Zoroark isn't playing. So
no, I've thought about it before though, because after I use my ability, I'm like, well, I'm done with it. I don't need it anymore. So I've thought about it, but
you need the bug, man. You need the bug.
Yeah.
That's been my problem with Zoroark. Is like 3 bogs is not enough, but 4 is too many.
Yeah,
No, 4 is not enough. I need 5.
It just like they clog. I feel like they clog. No matter how much I shuffle, no matter how much I riffle, I feel like if I have 4, I open up this. I just draw too many at once. If I have 3, I can never find the damn things.
I know exactly what you mean. Oh,
My biggest that deck on live, so yeah.
My biggest problem with Zoroark is that it doesn't do anything other than do 300 damage, which is a weird thing to complain about. Like, it does a lot of damage, but like, what happens if they put a Pokemon that isn't 2 prizes in the active? Like, you just lose, right?
Like, you have to play like Hawlucha or something in there or whatever.
You need to play just a single prize attacker, and the only good single prize attacker at the moment is like Miltank. That's not very good.
I thought about that too. Mitch, I've gone through all of that. I tried it with Inteleon first. I'm like, hey, if worse comes to worse, I can attack with Inteleon. That didn't work out. Yeah. I thought about Miltank. I've thought about, just different, who can I use as a single prize attacker? And I finally just said, you know what? Screw it. Just Zoroark, go. And when I run into a single prize deck, it's been 50-50, because a lot of single prize decks are the Lost Zone decks, and sometimes they swing and miss, and sometimes they get the knockout. But what's been murdering me is your boy, Sableye. I get him down to, it's a good prize trade. They can't knock me out. They can't one-shot me. I'm moving damage around, and then Sableye comes in and just, okay, I'm going to put a 2 on your Mew, because I play with Mew. Yep. So I'm going to put 2 on your Mew out. I'm going to put some on your Gengar, and put something here, and I also have the Lost City, so now they're all gone.
Yep, and now you can't use them anymore.
Okay. So actually, that's been my struggle. I still play well with the deck, and I'm learning it pretty well. It's just, it needs a single prize attacker or something.
It definitely does. The directions that I've gone with it, I've tried to make a water one, with Empoleon and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I've got going.
But there's also like a fire one that you could potentially do, where you either play Radiant Zard as an attacker, or even more excitingly, Radiant Heatran.
Yeah, you damage him, and then he's a big wombo smack.
But the problem with that is you need to set it up in 2 turns, or play like Raihan and stuff, which is, then you're asking for a lot of deck spaces. So
yeah, Raihan. I can see what you're saying with but oh man, it needs something. It needs.
It definitely needs another card. It needs a single prize attacker that's good enough.
I know what you're saying. When I run into those V-Star decks, or other, even VMAX. VMAXs are kind of tough at times. But when I run into any big multi-prize Pokemon deck, I have a good time.
Yeah. You just
Yeah,
cruise when
yeah.
you've got 2 prizes in
But
front
it's
of
a
you.
single prize where I'm sweating. I'm like, okay, I have to move enough damage from here, so he can't knock me out with this. Oh, he has a Snorlax. Okay, I have to move enough damage, and okay, I can't have this one active. And it's a lot of, and I know eventually that Sableye is going to come in, and then here it is. I'm like, well, now what do I do?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a struggle, but I love it. I still love the deck.
We'll figure it out eventually. I'm sure somebody somewhere out there is keeping it under tight wraps. They'll crack it, they'll play it in an event, and then all of a sudden the gate's wide
Maybe
open.
Peoria.
Everyone will play it everywhere.
We'll see it pop over at Peoria. Be like, whoa, why didn't I think of that? So yeah, you never know. But all right, Subin, are we moving on to Q&A?
Yeah, we have a couple questions. And as always, we have some trolls in the audience, and then
Freaking trolls, man! What are you guys doing out here?
Weird that people would come onto the internet and not be nice. Isn't that weird?
This one is from our good friend MWDC, our editor, and all that craziness. One of our good friends here. This is definitely a troll question. This is definitely directed to you, Mitch. How does it feel being the third best player in Australia behind Benry and Natalie?
Third best? That's great, because I'm not. I'm way worse than that. So I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll list off a whole bunch of people who are better than me. Here we go. Okay. Brent, Christian, Henry, obviously, Natalie. Then we've got Angus, Jordan, all these people you don't know. That's why I'm not giving you last names. You can look them up later. There's... Oh, I'm forgetting other people. I'm forgetting so many other people.
So you got to like 5. So you're top 5.
Oh, I'd comfortably sit in the top 20. Let's put it that way.
I mean,
well, bitch, that's enough to get in. So you're good.
Oh man! All right, Gazer, you want to pick one?
I'll just read the next one. We have one from our buddy, friend of the pod, X Sengrim. I'm assuming this is directed towards Mitch because we talked about it before. But what is your favorite deck in the past that you want to bring back?
Oh, okay. Well, my favorite deck in the past is Volcanion EX, but I don't want to bring that back. Because it probably wouldn't be very good now. But that's my favorite deck. If I could bring back anything from the past, I would probably bring back like a Reshizard deck. I had a lot of fun with Reshizard when it was around. I really like those kind of decks that are really explosive and fast. Because then I don't tie, which is always good. But yeah, I'd like something like that to come back. I don't think that there's anything that's equivalently bulky and powerful in the format. But then again, I don't necessarily want those to come back either, because then we would have a format that is tag teams again, and that was bad.
Yeah,
hey, I like
those games.
Mimikyu.
Those games either were absolute grinders or they were over in seconds.
They're over in seconds. Is my experience most of the time is over in seconds.
Unless you were like playing Gardevoir or Lucario Melmetal.
That's true too. You're right. Oh yeah, you're right. So we
I'd
got the
say
next question.
Since I played Reshizard the whole time, but
no problem for you, huh? You just here we go.
Exactly.
Time to burn through everything.
All right, this is not a troll question. Cap and Andrew wants to know what's for breakfast.
What's for breakfast? Well, it was going to be McDonald's, I think.
Okay,
but it's probably cold by now.
Yeah, I mean they microwave it there anyways. You can do the same thing and won't notice the difference. Yeah,
fine.
It's exactly the same. Yeah, exactly. McDonald's. What's your go-to breakfast from McDonald's? What is it?
So I usually go for nuggets because I'm a boring little child man.
Oh wait, they serve like the full menu for breakfast?
Yeah. So in Australia, we have a like all day menu that they serve in the morning because we don't necessarily buy as much of the breakfast food from McDonald's as Americans do. So we have like they have to sell other stuff or otherwise they don't make any money in the morning.
See, they did the opposite here a few years ago where they did all day breakfast, where they would sell select breakfast items throughout the course of the day.
Oh yeah, they did that for a second here too. They did that for a little bit.
We just don't want it. It's weird. We just want to have like a quarter pounder in the morning.
I would rather. I'm with you. I would also just prefer the chicken nuggets. Like
yeah.
Well, sometimes a good McGriddle, nice McGriddle.
If I want fast food breakfast, I'm going to Wendy's. No cap.
You're not wrong. Wendy's is good.
Wendy's fast food breakfast is the best fast food breakfast there is.
I like the little fries, the little JoJo potatoes. I like those.
The chicken biscuits, dude. The honey butter. Oh,
that's good too.
The honey
Mitchell,
butter.
do you guys have a Wendy's out there? Wendy's, Mitch. Wendy's.
Yeah. Is Wendy's the one that do a square burger? Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Hey.
I had that once in Nashville. That was great. See, we have a Wendy's in Australia, but it's an ice cream place. So.
Oh. I mean,
so it's not quite as good.
They kind of have like ice cream here at Wendy's, kind of.
This has been a fun pod, man. This is fun. I guess I'll read the next question. Question to Mitch. This is from MWDC. Shout out to our editor again. Question to Mitch: YouTube or Twitch? I know the answer to that.
Yeah, YouTube every day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't despise Twitch, but why would I personally manage my content through multiple sites when I could do it just through YouTube? Apart from, when Google eventually explodes. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I don't like the Twitch kind of culture is weird to me. I much prefer the YouTube culture where everyone kind of is a lot more transient. Whereas on Twitch, I find people get very particular about their community, which I think is really strange because I don't know anyone that's in this, and they're all fighting really hard against people. So I prefer YouTube where everyone comes in and they're like, "Oh, this is cool, it's Pokemon cards," and
Nothing
they
wrong, but the fact you said they're transient, like they're just wondering, hey, what's this?
like, "Oh,
Was
this
that
is
Pokemon cards? That's cool.
Pokemon
Wow.
cards." And then they scroll to the bit where there's a list and they go, "Oh, that's cool," and then they leave, and that's cool.
That's exactly. You sound like, hey, well, that's nice. All right, I'll see you later. And just
You got this. Scroll down the description. You got this in here. Copy paste into Pokemon Go. Oh, Pokemon Live. Here we go. Let's just play.
Yeah, you have a 10-second peak time, and then it crashes.
Exactly.
That's why I 100% stopped doing gameplay of PTCGO on my YouTube channel. I literally just do like like I just do like the physical deck profile. Like I go through card by card to talk about it, and like it's done better for me because I also hate I hate PTCGO. So
I also don't like PTCGO. It's fine.
bitch.
Fine. Don't worry.
I'll play it sometimes.
When you play PTCGO as much as I do, it's like loading up. The second that I got live, I have not loaded up PTCGO once. I will say
Mitchell.
that as
Goodness.
a fact. I haven't done it. So essentially what happened was we got all the Lost Origin stuff. I entered the codes into PTCGO, traded for everything, and then I opened up live and played all my games on live.
All right, well, I got everything. Okay, bye.
So spoiler alert, your next video should be a live video then.
The last time I played PTCGO was for that Clefairy video, which was I got the Clefairy cards, I made the video, and then I went and played live.
You should just make your videos in live then at that point.
Well, I'm going to, but essentially what I want to do is I want to make the first video that I make in live a defense of Pokemon Live. So that's taking a little bit longer than I would have hoped.
Hear you.
I'm going to get to.
I'm sure you want to show demonstrations too, right? And show what you're as you're talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so I need to find examples of all the stuff that I'm talking about and play through it that way. But then once I've done that, I am planning on doing deck profile stuff in live. Although this is an issue that affects uniquely Pokemon YouTubers, is that it is difficult to do a deck profile in live because you have to you have to move through the page.
I've seen that.
It's whatever.
In PTCGO, you click on on a deck and you expand it. It's just all
thing
there, and you can put yourself right in front of like, hey guys, look behind me. This is the deck.
Modern problems need modern solutions. Here's what you do.
Well,
you take a screenshot of each page of it, and then you go into Photoshop and combine them, and then just slap that image into OBS and record yourself talking over it.
And then you can't click on it and expand the card larger, and oh man.
Or you do it on like a Pokemon IO or something,
and then go into.
Go in. Probably what I'll do.
Yeah, I'm Pokegear. Jake Gearhart's app. We'll use Pokegear for the deck profile, then play the game on live.
This isn't live. He's on Pokegear.
Oh, that's so brutal. All right.
Who's good? Another question is what are we doing here?
Let me double check. We'll do one more troll one. Why does Gazer support cheaters in the Pokemon community? And this is from our friend Bags90.
Of course, it's from Bags. Is this geared towards me, you, or
why does Gazer support cheaters? You're in the question.
That must be geared towards you guys, because he didn't say Gazer, why do you support cheaters? He said, why does Gazer? So I'll let you guys answer it. Go ahead.
He's a bad person.
Yeah, remember last week episode, everybody. Hashtag blame Gazer. We're still looking for him. We can't quite find him. I don't know how he keeps getting into these Discord calls. I was
so mad and confused. Well, I was confused at first and so mad. Mitch, last week without me, they started a hashtag blame Gazer thing.
Yeah, no,
blame Gazer or blame Gazer beam, and it actually popped up in maybe 20 different tweets. And I'm like, what?
Well, surprise! It's on T-shirts coming very soon. to a merch store near you.
It better not be. I'm suing.
Do you guys ship those to Australia?
I'll do my best. I use Teespring, so hopefully they do. If not, then I'll find a way.
So we have one last question from Mr. Dark Bean. And shout out to Dark Bean. I think Dark Bean did really well at the last regional, didn't he?
Yeah, he made day 2. And also, he and I had lunch together on Saturday, so that was awesome.
Oh, Steuben. Bean. Oh.
He took me to Shake Shack for my first time there ever.
He was your first? Oh.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
I know that burger place. That's a good one.
He's like, now I know what you're talking about now. I know that place.
Yeah. I went to one of those in London. Nice.
I had the hot ones menu, and it was hot, but it was delicious.
I mean, it's called the hot one. Sounds about right. You still have Last Dab of hot sauce, don't you?
I have Last Dab Apollo still sealed, and I have the new 2022 One Chip Challenge still sealed.
Are you gonna do that on YouTube?
I don't know if would it do good there? The problem with that though is like the algorithm. If I go too far out of the Pokemon realm with videos, they don't do good, and then it doesn't know how to promote the Pokemon stuff to the people who want to watch it.
So you confuse the algorithm. It's like, what the hell? What is this?
Oh yeah, they don't like this. Well, that means they don't like him. Get rid of him. Put him in the back.
Push this guy back here. Push him back. So this last question comes from Darth Bean himself. Do you guys want to? Do you prefer Robin Schultz's Tabletop Simulator or PTCG Live?
They are doing different things. They are not the same. They shouldn't be compared. I don't think it would be fair to compare it. So I think that the Limitless Tabletop Simulator is the best way to simulate Pokemon cards, especially when they haven't yet come out. So if we're looking to do like pre-testing for formats that don't exist yet, absolutely the best. No, hands down, there is no better way to do it at all.
But when I first started streaming, I think close to a little over 2 years ago, and someone told me to download a Tabletop Simulator. I forget what it was, but it was so awkward and clunky, and we were testing out for Darkness Ablaze decks.
Yeah, and
some of the decks were fun, but it was so awkward to build the deck and then move the cards around. And yeah, Robin's a little more intuitive, but it's not the same as it's not a client like Live is or PTCGL. So yeah, you're right.
Same thing. But as I'm obviously being paid by Pokemon, Live is better.
You're a dirty shill.
He's clearly paid. Clearly
falling from the roof.
MW, go ahead and edit a bunch of money flying over the screen for us,
please.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Have the shades drop down and play the Thug Life thing. Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, whatever. The meme with the joint and the glasses. Yeah, don't put the joint in though.
So you just lost all your West Coast credibility.
And bleep out the word joint every time I say it, please.
MW, fix this for us. But no, that is it for Ask the Pod. Steuben, anything else we need to touch on or wrap up on, or what's happening here? What are we doing?
No, I mean, I'm awfully quiet with everything I've got going on. Single Price Showdown is back, kind of. I talked about it last episode. As of the time recording it, this episode might be out tomorrow morning. So technically, hey, if you listen to this the day it comes out, head over on Limitless and play in the Single Price Showdown on TCGO. There's some
every other Thursday, correct?
I'm gonna try and do it every other Thursday. No promises.
Steuben, make it happen.
No promises. These people don't pay me. It's my own free will.
I don't have much going on myself. I just I might have that live stream. If anyone's listening to this weekend, I'm gonna meet up with Primetime Wizard here in Fresno, California. We'll be playing in a few local tournaments, and then Sunday there's a winner case. That's what got him to come here. She's like, I might have to come sometime, Gazer, but I'm kind of tired from Baltimore. I said, there's a winner case going on, 3 boxes. I'll be there this weekend. So Primetime Wizard, who's originally from, where's he from?
From the Philippines.
Yeah, from the Philippines. Yes. He's here on for work. He'll be here for quite a while, he says. So I said, hey, come. You're 2 hours away. Come visit. So it's a 4-hour train ride, but he's making it happen. I said, I'll get you a hotel.
Wait, hang on. He's 2 hours away, but it's a 4-hour train ride?
He's driving. He's 2 hours away.
Wouldn't the train be faster than the car?
You would assume so, but it's not. It's California for you.
America's messed up with our rail system and transit.
Public transport system, man. You guys are killing it over there.
Yeah, our healthcare and our public transport's really great. Come to
Don't get me started on
America.
our healthcare.
Education system. Oh, it's beautiful.
Let me start on our healthcare. Oh my goodness! But no, I am hanging out with Primetime Wizard this weekend. We'll play in the tournament, and then Saturday night we'll stream together. He's going to come over to the house. We're going to have a good time. I have a box from our streamer friend, our breaker friend Furion. He sent me a. I've been buying breaks from him for 2 years. He finds like Gazer. I have to send your stuff. Just ship it. It's free. And I sent him some money anyway, and I said, "Here's some money. Here's my address." He said, "No, click the ship button so I can send it off when I ship, everything else out." I'm like, "Oh, my bad." So he sent it. It's the box is bigger than the breaks I bought, so I know he's got some good stuff in there. So I might open that up with Prime Time, and it should be a good time this weekend. So anyone's listening, want to see me and Primetime Wizard, another streamer on Twitch, open up some stuff, come check that out. Yeah, that's all I got going on. I've been playing locally too. I missed locals tonight for this, so Mitch and Subin, you're welcome.
I took work off for the whole day. So
I left work early. Does that count?
it's fine. I played video games and cleaned up the living room and
Oh, nice.
yeah.
But no, I guess if that's all that you and I have, we'll leave it in the hands of. Oh, I did have one question for you, Mitch.
Oh yes.
I meant to ask this way back in the beginning. The name the Sable Eyes, where did it come from? How many of you guys were there? What happened? What's going on here? I'm just curious.
Here's the story. So, I used to live in South Australia, Adelaide, South Australia, which is like in the middle and the bottom of Australia. And each state in Australia kind of has their little communities of Pokemon, and it got to the point where we were like, we were judging ourselves against other people. And we decided that, well, I wasn't there at the time, but they decided that South Australia's little mascot was going to be a Sableye because, South Australia is SA and then Sableye is SA,
I knew that
right?
part. That's the part I knew, yeah.
And so the South Australian team are the Sableyes. And that's originally what the channel was. So we started off, we were on an 8-hour road trip from Ballarat, which is in like the sticks of Victoria. And we were driving back to Adelaide from there, and we were talking about how there wasn't enough good competitive Pokemon content on YouTube, because at the time there wasn't. And so we were like, what can we do? And so we suggested that we do this channel, which was going to be the South Australian kind of team channel. And then it ended up being 3 or 4 people at the beginning that were on it. So it was myself, Jordan Palmer, and Blake Whiteman, as well as also Matt, who doesn't play anymore, or doesn't play as much anymore. So he's kind of dropped off. But the 4 of us used to do a lot of stuff on there. But then over time, you know how life gets, things get in the way, and it ended up being pretty much just me that was making it. So now my channel is called The Sableyes, and it's because of all of that stuff that happened in the past. And I keep saying I should probably change it because I no longer reflect the team itself. But then when I say that to people who are in the team, they're like, no, you have to keep it the same because our team's getting the most publicity. So we need to keep it.
Just every time you do a different video, just dress up as somebody different and be like, oh, I'm, I'm Top Hat Mitch. And then one day you're like a colonel or whatever.
The Colonel.
Mitch, what?
Colonel Mitch. I don't know.
I'm from the Sableyes.
I'm a Sableye. Are you a Sableye? But no, I remember when it was the capital S, capital A Sableye. Like, okay. And I remember, you would stream and do your videos, and it's like, you and like 3 other guys, like, or 2 other guys, like, who are those? What's going on here? How many of you guys are there?
Jordan and Blake. So they're both pretty strong. Well, Jordan's one of the best players in Australia. And Blake's very, very strong as well. So it was good, but then, it just stops. Because I made one deck profile where it was just me, and that one blew up, and I was like, oh, well, I have to keep doing this now, because that's how YouTube works.
Sorry, guys, you suck. Get out.
Yeah, they don't like you. Go away. No, it just ended up being the way that it went. So.
But yeah, I think just that's you now. That's your brand. That's who you are. So you can't change that. So speaking about your brand, plug everything you want to plug, man. What's the YouTube? I know you don't do Twitch, but what's the YouTube, the Twitter?
I have 2 things.
Everything.
You only need to follow me on 2 things, and that's it. Firstly, YouTube, Sableyes. You should go and check that YouTube channel out if you haven't already. And also at the Sableyes on Twitter. And those are the only 2 places that I interact. It's quite funny because I know for a fact that there's the Sableyes on Instagram. That is not me. That is some random person who has taken my name on Instagram. So don't follow them. Just Twitter and YouTube, and do all the good stuff. Make sure you subscribe here. Do a little A little follow for the Gust of Wind.
Hey,
And for
yeah, all your links will be down in the description below. These YouTube videos go on my YouTube channel, but we stream on its own channel. We did stream on our own channels at one point in time for this, but we learned that it hurts us more than it helps us to do this on our own channels.
Doesn't it suck that doing the things that are fun makes all of the other content creation stuff worse?
Yeah, it's just the process of it all.
Yep.
Yeah, I was telling Steuben, I would stream I streamed late night this past Monday just on a whim. I came back from locals, was feeling, hype from winning. I'm like, I'm a stream. And it's like 10:30 p.m. I'm like, okay, I'll stream. Maybe 15 people will show up. I sat close to 50 people. I'm like, what is everyone doing here? What are you guys doing? Meanwhile, when we do our podcast, Steuben, we would get what? 7 people to come watch us? Come hang out?
We currently have 10 viewers.
10?
Please watch
One
us.
of them's me.
Please
I'm
listen.
sorry.
Please,
I am
guys.
also one of them too, because I have my personal account, and Gazer
I'm one of them as well.
Gazer has his personal account watching. So that's 7. Emily's in the other room. So that's
there it is.
That
Numbers are dwindling.
Then
You guys,
drop it
please
off.
watch. If you don't watch, please listen. Hopefully, you guys are listening to this on Spotify, Google, wherever else you get podcasts.
Yeah, Anchor, Spotify.
Yeah, we could use a review if you guys would do that.
Yeah.
That'd be so kind.
Yes, we would love more Apple reviews and or star ratings on Spotify. You don't have to give us 5 stars. We can't tell you to give us 5 stars, but if you do, I will love you very much.
Wait, what?
Deeply.
But Mitch, it's been a blast, man. I know you've done plenty of interviews and stuff before, but I'm sure you haven't done anything like this. So hopefully,
I'll say
it's
that
good
much.
enough for you as it was for us.
Thank you very much for having me on, and thank you to everyone who is listening and watching. Go and play live if you're in the right space. Tell Pokemon to send me some money.
Are paying this man.
Send me some money. I just need some money.
I got $1. Is that enough?
Oh, well, it's an American dollar?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right, play live. Let's go.
Superman, you want to get us out of here?
Yeah, that's it for us here at the Gust of Wind podcast. I am always Steuben, ST00B, and follow me on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, OnlyFans, Fan House. No, I'm kidding. I don't have an OnlyFans unless you guys want
Grindr?
one. No, neither of those. No, thank you. And of course, my delinquent co-host who wasn't here last week, GazerBeam2K. Please follow him on. Technically has a YouTube channel, but doesn't do anything with it. Twitch and Twitter, and of course follow this podcast on the Twitter account Gust of Wind Pod. All links for everything will be down in the description below on both Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and of course the YouTube video if you're watching it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Pokemon content like deck profiles, these podcasts, and if I get crazy and decide to drink Fanta again, I don't know.
What the Fanta?
But that'll do it for us. Gazer, anything you want to say?
No, just enjoyed it, man. This was a ball. I'm glad to be back. Hopefully, I won't miss too many more. I know next week we already have our guests lined up. We gotta start getting this stuff scheduled in advance, and I gotta do a better job at that myself. But I really enjoy what we're doing, man. So just let's keep this thing rolling. Appreciate you guys listening.
Yeah, thanks again, Mitch, for joining us.
Thank you.
Peace. We're out.
Later.